What's up, Jeffrey? How's it going, Ridwan? Tell dog. Yeah, yeah, right. This is some BS, guys. I kid you not. This has nothing to do with internet, by the way. Literally nothing to do with the internet. At that very same moment, I'm using my other device right here next to me. Everything is working. This is unacceptable, YouTube. I freaking love it though. Yeah, Richard. Asness got me. he might have got the stream, but he doesn't get me. That's for sure. So to continue right where we left off. Sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I have no control over that kind of shit. But here we go. Good thing is that we didn't leave off. We didn't really get deep down yet into everything. So, anyways, as I was saying, the very next day after this stuff comes out, and then now the media source is showing their true colors. They are actually coming out and saying that, hey, look, now they're flexing on the apes. In light of all this, AQR has performed exceptionally well this year. In light of the S&P 500's decline, the firm has several different funds. Its absolute return fund is up 43% so far this year as the end of May. Meanwhile, the equity market neutral fund returned about 13% in May, now up an impressive 52% year to date. Despite its size, Asness short has still created quite a bit of controversy among AMC bulls. Let's get into the details as they say here. And that's where it gets even uglier and uglier because these guys want to pounce on what they marinated last night. That the way that they came out, they let everybody sink that news and AQR. And now the media is coming in full force. They're using that. And what are they saying? Besides showing the size of this hedge fund and oh, they're winning and all this stuff. Well, if you've seen here, it says it has several different funds, and it's not just counting on the S&P 500. The absolute return fund is up 43% so far this year. And then the equity market fund returned about 13% in May. Impressive 52% year to date. Well, I wonder what that's going to be like toward the end of the year. And what other losses are they taking that are so far not in the light? And I think that when the squeeze occurs, that 52% is going to come down to a closed, possibly hedge fund. This should only excite you guys, not get you worried, as what I've been seeing today throughout the market, in channels and other places. People, they buy, like they act to this day to day. Do you think they needed to wait a year and a half for us to come to this conclusion ultimately, and now feel the need to come out and tell us this shit? Makes no sense, right? If they had their their kill pill and they were going to give it to us, they would have given it to us from day one. They wouldn't even wait this long. They wouldn't even wait this long because they know they could shut this down, win the shorts, close this theater down, as they're saying in here. AMC, they break down in this new article the flaws of AMC, how it's not profitable, how it's not this and not this, as in first quarter. Look how ambiguous they are. Q2 earnings, why are you not reporting that? I would like to know, why would you not? Well, maybe because it was showing that it is going to be a profitable business. In fact, it is a profitable business. They beat the expectations. They're not fully out of debt, and many companies are not. Many. But our steam full ahead, this makes zero sense. That's why they're picking up on Q1. I wouldn't even be surprised if they brought out stats from 2020 or 2021. We know we have a limited amount of big movies coming out, and each movie is doing better than the other, breaking records. All it takes is one movie to hit 1 billion, and there you go, right there. Guess how much that is? When they say that this is a thing, and the best is still yet to come. Where Top Gun came from, there's a lot more from where that came from. I just would like everybody to know that, and I hope you all know that. Change the color on this. Green? No. We'll make it blue. I like it. This is a better color. Come on, Asness. Come on, Asness. You could do better than just shorting the stream. You could do better than that. And they bring out all this stuff. So just like a general statement to all you guys in here, to the family. When in doubt, please go look at the very own things that gave you your conviction. Look at yes, they say look at earnings, look at this and all this stuff. I implore you to go and do that. That's important to do that. Go ahead and do that. Every time you feel in doubt, look at that stuff. Let's see if you put your money in a place you want to know, right? Where it belongs. You don't need a YouTuber. You don't need me. You don't need anybody else for that. But if you just look simply on the hot topics, which is, in my opinion, what are they bringing in, the assets that they went and got, gold mines, investments here and there, popcorn, all that stuff is coming in the works. Like it's in the works already, but it's coming. It's yet to come. While everything is falling and everything is collapsing throughout the market, we are looking up. We are looking up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they continue. Obviously, there's 120, 130,000 almost contracts or calls that are going in tomorrow. So they need most of those to get out of the money. How they do it, they prepped for that since the day before yesterday. They came out with that stuff. Today, they make it seem like, oh yeah, everything is green except AMC. Who did they really get? Did they get me? F no. This is a rookie mistake. In fact, it's a mistake of somebody who don't know how to invest. If you fall for something like this, I know none of you guys fell for this crap. I know that. I can just tell because it was so easy to see. Like really, the very next day this happens, we get shorted like crazy. Shares obviously keep popping up out of nowhere. You got the feds coming out pretending that this is the first time that they're going to actually start funding the market or the economy. And where honestly they've been really doing that because they're not reporting those numbers. There's bailouts. They're just reporting repo and reverse repo. Until now, we only got numbers for Q1 2020 of who's involved in these repo and reverse repo operations. And if you go and look, I have downloaded files. Anybody can reach out to me on Discord. And if you would like them, I could definitely send them to you. You can read through them. You'll see the banks, Barclays, Citigroup, Nomura, many, BNC. It's many huge, all those huge banks that we know of. All those were getting bailouts from the feds before a single case of COVID even popped on the scene. And all we have data to show for it so far, which is what they report, is until Q1 of 2020. We're 2 years and a half past that time frame, and we still don't have what's all those numbers in between. That, ladies and gentlemen, when this thing is said and done and all over with, that's when they will report these kind of, and they have been doing it regularly. They know there's so many smooth-brained, wrinkle-brained apes that are ready to uncover everything. We got eyes like the movie Eagle Eye, literally everywhere. And they're making it seem like they're pumping out the crypto and all this stuff today. I told you guys yesterday that level of 22,600, again, I'm not an advisor, but that's what I've seen in my technical analysis. If it doesn't break that, I don't see any sign of no reversal. It's holding still. It's not going above that. This is nothing but a mere few percentage here and there. And in fact, I completely expect by tomorrow that we would see something and where it's actually dropping unless it continues to consolidate in this range. But as more than that, beside if Bitcoin does not break 22.6, for me, there's no reversal. In fact, I'm even more bullish on even knowing which one of these major corporations or companies are going to go out of business. And in fact, I put my guess out there, and you might have heard it here first, but I'll tell you this. I personally believe Coinbase is bye-bye. They're saying that you see crypto is rebounding, and then they had Coinbase. They're consolidating their, what was it again? I'm sorry. Let me see this real quick. Coinbase announces consolidation of pro exchange coin stock jumps, which is makes almost no sense, because you know what they mean by consolidation here, right? Like they're basically it's like a big exchange going on a diet, from staff, from features, all that stuff. They're cutting out, weeding out a lot of things. Now, in reality, it's good for a human being to go on a diet and take care of their physique and themselves and their health. But in a platform, the fatter you are, the better you are. And when you do a consolidation like this, it's funny that they take it. I mean, things gotten so stupid. I swear, things got so stupid to the point where who falls for this stuff? Honestly, I just want to know, like, who falls for this shit? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's against logic. The only people that fall for this stuff are people who are not in the market. And they have, if they're not so entwined with all the other stuff, if they haven't seen patterns in the past, if they haven't been in the market for a long time, they wouldn't know this. And when I say a long time, as in I said before COVID, I know that a lot of OGs in here are COVID and beyond. I'm saying pre-COVID times, being in the market, and that gives you a lot more. I said this many times before. Experience is something that is you could get when you learn, and it takes time. It does not come overnight. So the best thing for every person is to learn from these things and their mistakes, because I'm not falling for this crap. In fact, like I said, Coinbase is going to be one of the first ones to be out. While all this, oh, they're consolidating, let's go green. It makes no sense. They're like literally saying we're cutting off people, off our staff, and all this stuff. And on top of that, underneath lurking, you would hear things like this that are not really promoted. Anonymous Bitcoin whale just moved 67 million worth of Bitcoin off of Coinbase. Well, if it's going to be a great entity and it's going to be all great, why are we seeing, and this is not the first one, almost on a daily basis, you see something like this. Maybe in exchange for CoinDesk, they almost sound alike, right? Look at this other one. Anonymous Bitcoin whale just moved 101 million worth of Bitcoin off of Coinbase. Bitcoin mining difficulty drops 2.35% as Bitcoin price plunges. This is just literally like 6, 7, 8 hours ago. And Bitcoin is not really plunging right now, right? Another one, Bitcoin whale just transferred 90 million worth of Bitcoin onto Coinbase. Oh, wow, this is great. So is there more coming in or more going out? Clear indication here is that there's a lot of pump and dump going on throughout the market, and they're pumping and dumping the market. That's literally what's happening in the crypto market as well. We're going to also talk about bbig now for a second. So bbig, weirdly, now is they submitted and said that, okay, this is the day that we're going to go ahead and do the stock split or the dividend, cryptide dividend. And they said that, and they were going to do that on the June 29th. Now, they did say some cool things in the middle. Cool things as in not in a very, very good way. People who sold BBIG past their record date, which was May 18th, I remember, 18th, 17th, they will not be getting any dividend. You would you to get the dividend, apparently, you would have to have hold your shares of BBIG well before and after the record date and all the way up to the distribution date. And the weird thing about that for me is, I mean, okay, that maybe I can understand, no problem. It's normally not like this, but well, let's say I'll understand that. But the weird part here is how they announced it a week before, like next week's expiration, like on a Thursday. And it's like, hey, mark your calendars. They were literally promoting it. What kind of pill are they planning to serve to people? We will see what it is. At the end of the day, it's not going to change. I didn't buy the stock. It's one of the stocks that I have. I didn't buy that stock so that I could go ahead and sell it on June 29th specifically, or whatever, whenever. I believe in the conviction. I have the conviction into the play. I believe into the play, and therefore it's done deal. Like I know exactly what I'm in this play for. I'm not into it day to day. If you day trading it, that's a different story. Any of these stocks, you'll approach any of these stocks differently. I have no hate against anyone who does day trading, and even if you are doing that through GME or AMC or whatnot, because I can't control who you are. I don't do it. I think it's pretty stupid, but I can't call anybody that, and I have to have respect for people as I live my life, and no one has any say so into it from the outside. I also have to respect the boundaries of I don't have any say so in people's lives. So if you're going to day trade, or you're going to go ahead and trade your shares, whether it's AMC, BBIG, GME, any other meme stock, whatever, B hat, whichever you want, whichever you do, that's up to you. You benefit from what you do, and you drink from the cup that you make in life. My thing is, why would I settle for peanuts on the or pennies on the dollar when I know that I have the whole holy grail right in front of me, directly right in front of me? All I have to do is not pay attention to the one apple that fell out of the basket. Again, to each their own, right? Now we're seeing in the after hours that we're seeing that the most of these stocks that went up today, basically, I still can't get over the fact that I literally still can't get over the fact that we literally were not tracking any of the index funds we were in, even the IWM. Let me see if it closed exactly like that, because last time I looked at it, it was in the market, it was around 315. The Russell 2000 that we were in, even that, we're in that. let me relax. We are in this in the Russell 2000. That's where we are now, and we're fixing to go on Friday to the Russell 1000. And the funny thing is that it went up 1.2%, and the SPY finished green as well as last time I checked, because that tracks the SPY, and we track the Russell 2000. Yes, and even the SPY finished up 1%. Only us finished down, what, 4%? It was much higher, but the last few minutes of the trading session, they brought it up to 4% in the down. That is manipulation at its finest. I don't need to see candles. I don't need to see all that other stuff. Logically, the index fund that you're in, the stock is in, is tracked. So if AMC is down, I was supposed to, this is logically how it is, I was supposed to see, without even looking, the Russell 2000 be in the red as well. So is the SPY. However, that's not what was really happening. That's definitely not what was happening. So there's the manipulation have no limits of what they are, basically what they're doing. And in fact, it comes at a day where right after yesterday, They marinated everybody with that news on that article with AQR. And today they're reaping, they're pouncing on that article. They know we were marinating that in last night and yesterday. And today they're pouncing on it. And they show us some red. Weak hearts, weak fundamentals, and weak conviction people fall easy victims to this. Am I worried about that? No. Do you see me coming out and saying we need to get 100,000 a share? We need to follow people, and we know the fact that there is billions. I'm not saying billion. I'm saying I know for a fact that there are billions of FTDs that needs to be delivered. Those were that. If everybody, the only way that those gets covered is if everybody gives up on the plays. Let that sink in. They're the ones who are over leveraged. They're the ones who's being held down by an anchor that is so deep with so many bricks over it, deep down in the freaking ocean, and it's going to sink their ships. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. Unless everybody gives up on this and let's go, then they get to cover and they get to close and they get to bury all those FTDs for good. And they will make the biggest historical amount of money ever. That's besides all the money they've been robbing already anyways, or stealing already as to begin with. So if anybody has it in their capacity to let them basically walk away with that, they, you know, they're playing you and they're baiting you into the options. You know they're baiting you in that. There are different ways. I'm not telling nobody not to go and buy options. In fact, I am one that was heavy on options in June 2021. But I was able to benefit from that. There is ways to do something and there is no ways to do not do something. If that makes any sense. But I'm not trying. I am always as sincere and as emotional. And that's why some people can't probably handle it or take it, which is, again, no, you can't please everybody and you can't go ahead and, I guess, make everybody upset. So you're always going to have your people and you're always not going to have your people. And that's fine. That's life. There's a balance, and that's the balance in life. What else did I want to cover? After marinating everyone with all that crap that they were doing yesterday, and then today they come out with this, you look at the crypto realm right now. I guarantee you, I double guarantee you to all you guys, because you guys are family in here, I guarantee you that all those crypto channels right now are saying, yes, we're gonna go to the moon, reverse. I've called it too many times, and it's so easy to see. In fact, you're not even going to see the move on this until later on. If it's not going to consolidate in this region, it's going to make a move like literally like anywhere around 9 o'clock at night or somewhere before pre-market at 2:30, 1:30, 2:30 in the morning. Everybody's asleep. And in the same time, the other markets are open. So therefore, they can go ahead and do what they got to do. And when people wake up, let's face it, majority of retail, they only wake up to see AMC, but there's a big chunk that don't even wake up for pre-market. And not that you have to, unless this is what you do for a living or unless this is it, then you don't really necessarily need to have to. If you're just one of those people where I buy and I hold until that moment comes, hey, hats off to you. You know you got your plan, but don't get caught in the psychological warfare that they're bringing out every day. They got something new. They will fleece you out completely out of all your convictions. And then you get up one day and you see the squeeze and you're like, why am I in this situation? What happened? At some point I had like 4,000 shares or 3,000 shares. Like, I'm telling you guys, I've seen this happen to a lot of my people around me, the people that trade around me. Excuse me. Hold on to your convictions, people. We are closer than ever. And now the feds are coming out and saying that we are going to fund the markets because we need it. But in the same time, yesterday, he said that we're going to hit a recession if we keep raising the rates. It's very clear what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. They know that this is screwed. They got the market where they need it. They got it hooked on that life support machine, which is the Fed's money. which the Fed make a lot of money from that. Sorry, I put this whole hookah and I didn't even use it except once or twice. That's how much I love you guys. So ultimately, the market is right where they need it to be. They got it hooked on this life support of a machine, which is the Fed. And at any given moment, the Fed, when it takes off, then that's when everything just collapses because it's running on printed money every day. And inflation is going to get more seasonally and more hot. But they're in the same, in the same time, they're making so many um, excuses already as we go, so that when it's time to drop the ball, which is the time they know, it's in it for them. They're basically doing nothing but postponing this play, as you already know from 2021. Since January of 2021, they've been postponing this play. You guys all know this, and we've always been saying, "Hey, justice delayed is justice denied," and all this stuff. And I feel it. I feel it, and I know you feel it. But these guys are going to keep propping it. It's not that they have a lot of loops in the system and all that stuff. It's the system. It's the system. I understand there are many people out there, and you could be one of them. I'm speaking to any of you directly here, that believes that yes, the system works as we believe that it works. That okay, yeah, the Fed's got their job, the DTCC's got their job, and all this stuff. The fact that the DTCC, the mother of all the shares, that have access and answers to how many shares are I can never say that word completely right, so I'm not even going to say it. How many more synthetics are made, and yet almost 2 years later, nothing from the government side is being brought up. I'm surprised I didn't get shorted yet. So um, to have all that, to have all that, and yet nothing is being reported, and they're playing this weird, stupid game with us. That oh yeah, we are trying to tackle inflation, yes, and meetings with Congress and all the Senate. This is all a play. I know you guys watch WWE or WWF and all that stuff. This is it. This is it at its finest. When you're in the market for a long time and you research here and there on history and you know things around, you can see from the actions of what's happening. They're doing nothing about it. The Federal Reserve, it's the market is crashing and it's going into a recession anyways. What are you propping up? What are you postponing still? The stench of this of your of your actions, the stench of your actions is all over the globe. Everybody can smell it. And then you guys keep coming, like I understand you've been coming out saying this transitory is transitory. Now you're no longer saying that. It's much higher than you anticipated. What are you getting paid for? Like you as Jerome and Janet, what are you guys getting paid for? Don't even get me started on the Treasury. But what are you guys getting paid for? The people in your departments, all the Federal Reserve, what are they working for? What are they getting paid from taxpayer money for? For what? What are they getting? We knew that we were in a much worse situation and inflation was so bad since 2020, and you kept saying it's transitory all the way until the beginning of 2022. So you can't say that it's not as how we anticipated. If millions of people were able to see it 2 years prior, then I find it very hard to believe, and we don't even get paid for that. I find it very hard to believe that you couldn't see that. They couldn't see that back then. In fact, they are the pushing and the driving factor into all this madness that we're in. All this print more, give. And when they say consumers are still spending money, that is true. They literally gave people small money here, $1,200 here, $1,200 there. And then now they're saying that the last stimulus that came out in March of, 2021, which was the second one, I think. Yeah, or the third one. That one is what put like that overflowed the cup. That's what made it all flip. Don't even get me started. Why are you guys, as the Fed, why are they not reporting their all their repo and reverse repo transactions besides the numbers? With who? What is the collateral that is being submitted? Those are things that we have the right to have access to, right? At the end of the day, you're a part of our our system. We don't get access to any of that stuff. The last, I dare you, go look for it. The last thing you're going to find is Q1 of 2020. We're 2 years later and none of that data is being reported. Again, I said my case earlier, and I said, you will see those datas, but only for the ones that are going to be searching for it when everything is said and done. Late way down the line, that's when they will release all these datas because they know not a lot of people are going to come looking for it. And even the ones that come look for it, it's not going to be enough, or like we're still waiting, like we are right now. If they were to put out that data anywhere in the past 2 years leading up till today or before the squeeze, they know that there's going to be a lot of headache. They know that so many smooth brained apes are going to come out and find that stuff and share it with everybody. It's going to go like wildfire, like how it happens in Cali, unfortunately. But in this case, only in a good way. All that stuff are known. We're not the only ones that see everything. I get your feelings. I know that you feel like you see it all. You feel the manipulation, and it's there. Your hunch feelings and your feelings are correct, and they are there. They seek to confuse the shit out of you and get you to have fear and manipulate your emotions and your psychological uh, being. And they're doing that perfectly with these things. However, is it working? On me, it's not. I'm saying all this stuff so I can see if I can hopefully make sure it's not also working on you. Not that I'm advising you in anything financial. No, I'm just checking on your well-beings and your psychological being in this whole madness that is happening, and the fact that all this is being swept under the carpet as not conflict of interest. It's only conflict of interest when it applies on us. But on their side, how many conflicts of interest are there? I said the other day, Citron, which is a very noticeable and very known short that got screwed in the GME debacle back in January of 2021. I shared days ago that they were saying, they put out an article saying that Ethereum is worth $200. So they can put out stuff like this. If I was to come out and say AMC is worth $800, just hypothetically speaking, and it's worth $800 because this, that, or this, that. Like, I'm pretty sure I will get a lot of kickback. Two, somehow some document is going to find its way to my address saying that, hey, lawsuit for this or defamation for this or whatever. It's working, people. I understand this feels further than ever, but it is closer than ever. If you feel like you needed to get out and you feel like you got to get out, I'm telling you here from now, I'm not here to tell anybody to stay or to go, or to invest and not to invest, and to hold and not to hold. If you've been here for, like me, since September of 2020, I don't need a YouTube channel. I don't need a person rather than myself to tell me why am I in this play or to further strengthen my conviction into this play. I did not come this freaking far just so that I can go ahead and say, oh, Asness got me. He just mentioned some things I never thought about. I didn't know that it was like this. It's time to get out. Get out of here. That's not going to happen. Let me tackle some of the comments, which is obviously many of them I'm so behind. I apologize. Um, let me see if there's any questions. If you guys have any questions, please throw them in so that it can be answered on the live. Richard Mock, yeah, Asness, he didn't get me. He got he had the live, the previous one. They shorted the shit out of that one. I felt like because I was saying something, I was in the middle of saying something very emotional too, and I felt like the way that it got cut off, it's like, you know, when somebody's holding on to information and like secret services are like saying, no, you can't say stuff or whatnot, or your life depend on it. And I was about to say it, and then they just cut it off, and then I you know, they they leave me in a ditch somewhere. I literally felt like that. As soon as that happened, I looked at the window. I was like, when is it? When is everybody going to swarm in right now? Jeffrey's saying, just wait till the apes get a hold of them. And that's referring to ASNES, AQR. And they're already tangled in. They can belittle what they want to say. If they're one of the biggest management, I said it yesterday. And I was encouraging every other creator to say the same thing and not just to follow my trend. No, because I think it's a very great response, honestly. If they are, as they say they are, the one of the biggest hedge funds globally, $150 billion in assets and whatnot, even though, again, I have never heard of AQR. I'm not over exaggerating here. Since they're all that and they're flexing those numbers, why are you, again, he said straight from the snake's mouth, he said that they're small 12 bits, that's it, short position in AMC. Well, then why are you one of the biggest hedge funds globally? You got all these assets and you're 50 something percent into the profit up till now, up till May. Why are you not like, why did you wait until now? If you, since you've been shorting AMC for a while, well, apparently they say they just opened it. They literally just apparently said that they opened it, but now new articles make it seem like they've had it since the beginning, since Q1 of 2022. So which one is it? Are they even talking with each other? I understand they work on the same page, the media and them, because they own it, and the media puts out what these guys want them to put out. But their information is not even correlating with each other. I mean, they even, for God's sake, they even reported AMC's Q1. We already finished Q2. We're about to finish Q2, and we had the reports for Q2. Why are they not reporting Q2? Why are they reporting Q1 of AMC earnings report? But nevertheless, since they are that big, AQR, one of the biggest hedge funds in the world globally, oh, billions of dollars, why are you opening up a very small and stupid, minuscule short position on AMC on us? And come out dare us, and you come out swinging like you're Rambo. You guys remember Rambo? I know some of you guys in here remember Rambo. So they come out and say it like that, but they open a small thing. So what is this? I have a very funny example in the back of my head, and I don't know if it's smart to say it on live or if it's legitimate to say it on live, but I'll go ahead and say it. AQR is the equivalent of a guy who's trying to impress a chick all night long and say, I am big this, I am big that, I am big here, I'm AB below, and all this stuff. And then when it comes time to show, that thing goes like, it's 12 bits. Small short position. Put your money where your mouth is. I would love for all other creators, all YouTube creators, to put this message out there to them. They think that they're putting all the psychological warfare on us and think that we're worried and afraid for our money. It's time to show them it's not. It's not. It's really not. They're the ones who's hurting. So how about we expose it as for what it is, the truth. We're not afraid. We're going to put it out there. That's why I'm saying I would love all my other YouTube creator mates out there to say the same thing. And this is not just for AQR, for all other hedge funds. If you are so solid on your conviction, just like we are, we've held through our conviction. It's going to be 2 years for me in a couple of months. And I don't care about all the stuff, all the articles that they brought out, and all these things. I'm holding true to my conviction. How about you guys, you hedge funds, AQRs of the world, the Citadels of the world? Well, we know you guys, all the other hedge funds. If you feel and you see so simply how far we are from fundamentals and we are a losing business, and Netflix apparently is taken away from us, do you see what happened to Netflix? They literally put that. They literally put that in there. Netflix was in the heights of $600 in the like above. And where is it today? And you're telling me Netflix is taking away AMC subscriptions? People are adding more subscriptions. Last time I checked, the reason why Netflix fell is because it's loss of subscriptions. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if GameStop buys Netflix. And here you go with some controversy. GameStop could buy them. AMC and GameStop could both partner up and buy Netflix. And now the market is cornered. People don't want to go to the movies. Well, they can have the subscription, but it fills into whose pool? AMC's pool. GameStop, guess what? People don't want to purchase the physical game anymore, even though there's a lot of people that love having the actual disc. Not everybody want to have a 2, 3, 4, 5 terabyte hard drive that they could keep storing games on and downloading games on. But even if there are there, GameStop could also benefit from having their games on that platform. That could be no more Netflix. Cut it out. It's owned. I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, hey, Adam, Mr. Adam Aaron, what do you think? Like Cubby does. To all you hedge funds shorts out there, if you see that AMC is such a loss and a travesty and is so easy money to make, please short us, and short us with some dignity. Don't short us with a stupid 12 bits like Mr. Assness did, making a full ass out of himself. Short us properly so we can deal with you properly. Until then, I don't give a shit about these stupid articles. This is telling me nothing but flexing with, oh, they have $150 billion in assets. That's a drop in the bucket, my friend, compared to BlackRock. That's who they're, and again, I know that you really want to be like them one day and be like the Citadels and all that, which you'll never be. Let's face it, you and I both know this, Mr. Assness. We both know this. You're trying to fit into that club. It's not going to work. Look at that, 150 billion. That's even if it's true. Look at BlackRock's. They don't talk B's, they talk T's. Why are you talking B's? They're talking T's. You're in a different bracket, my friend. And now even that bracket is not going to be there anymore. Just please, please lock your door and secure your windows, barricade them very well so that when that day comes, you're not one of those stories that we hear, oh, Mr. Assness asked his way out of the window. Sorry, this is the darkest you'll ever see out of AB. But again, I need, this is a time where people need to rally around their conviction. This is where we need to hold true, because we're literally, like, you could tell that the other side is truly feeling it. Truly feeling it. Before they even had more help. Now even the Fed is coming out saying that, yeah, we are going to have to prop up the market. But yesterday, he was in front of the committee, the banking committee, the Senate banking committee, saying, we will continue to raise hikes, but I fear that could lead us straight into a recession. But we're going to keep pumping the market, keep inflating the market. Are the people in office, or are the people in these seats in all of the Congress and the Senate? We understand they all took their, they all are paid blue or red. We've seen their transactions in the COVID time frame, and when they had the blackout and they all was still able trading, and they had a lot of insider trading info, and it's been done that way for so many years. We bringing that to light, and now apparently there are some rules that are going in. They started working on it in like the end of 2021, but it doesn't go into effect until like 2023 anyways. Nevertheless, Do any of these people in these offices, do any of them literally like have any common sense, or do they really think that people are really as dumb as they are? And here's why I say this. How can a Fed continue and say just today to inflate markets, but expect inflation to go down? Just make that make sense for me, please. You can't. You can't make sense out of it. That word inflation is pre-telling on its own, just that term by itself. It doesn't even need an expert to understand it. And yet they're continuing this play of, oh yes, rule this, rule that, situation this, situation that. By the way, I'm still trying to come up with all that work to try to come up with something with hopefully with Pantheon with about the whole comment from the NASDAQ, Virtue, and how they're responding to the whole ATS switch regulations and all that stuff. So stay tuned for that one day. Hopefully one day soon it can come out. But for the meantime, this is way more important. This is about the morale of the whole community. We don't need leaders. We don't need this. You are your own leader in your own right, or outright. And that's what we need, people with their own convictions. And guess what? If anybody, again, I always said, even if if a lot of people leave this play, and I'm not pushing for this, but even if they do, I just want for the people with conviction to remember that all the FTDs that are in the background, all those will have to be answered unless we all give up on this freaking play and we all say, forget it, we accept this loss. Here you go, Wall Street. Here you go, hedge funds. Cover everything and take so much money that the world wealth transfer, instead of it happening from the elite to the to the poor, no, it's going to be yet another transfer of bigger wealth, the biggest wealth transfer ever from the poor to the wealthy that this earth has ever seen. So unless you guys and we all decide that we want to do that, then it's business as usual. There's no ifs and buts about it. The business is going profitable. The bigger movies are still yet to even come. No more COVID shutdowns. None of this stuff. It is not a World War III last time I checked. We're in good hands, people. We're in good hands. Just keep your mind on the things that benefits you the most, which is what is happening with the business. What new things are they adding? Oh, laser projectors throughout all theaters. That's going to help down the line. Nobody's going to want to go to no Cinemark. Even, I understand all the AMC investors don't go there anyways, but even the people who are not AMC investors, I'm talking about those people. Those people who just look at movie theaters as all the same, and they see AMC, Cinemark, whatever, and then oh, okay, or Paramount, and then they see, hey, this is the closest one to me. I'll just go there because they're not invested in the stock market. They don't know about the AMC play. Even those people will start looking at AMC and say, well, this one offers me this that none of these other theaters have. Besides the fact that we are the absolute apex in our industry. We have no other. It's like, okay, we're the lion and everything else is everything else in our environment, in our literally in our ecosystem. Globally. I even seen an AMC in Saudi Arabia. We all know about that. I've never seen a Cinemark, even in England. So when you talk about flex, we can come out with videos to flex. Who's watching it? They're airing this out to people, for us. Who's going to bite? They're dangling these fishing rods and they're hoping for people who have their mouths wide open. Who's going to bite on this and take it and run home with it and poison the rest of their people with them or their home and then make a worse decision. Because again, when you're psychologically down, emotionally, when you're down, you tend to make decisions that are normally 90% of the time, they're not good for you. That's what they're aiming for. They marinated you with that article yesterday. They let you marinate on it overnight, and then the next day, they pounce on it. If it worked, they got their money's worth. If it didn't work, then that's just another loss for them. Do you know how much they're paying through dark pools? I understand that we see it every day, 60, 70, 80, 90% sometimes of all trades are going through the dark pool. And this has a lot to do with what that NASDAQ comment that I was telling you guys about that I will break down. I mean, this is crazy. Like with that ATS regulation rule that we were talking about, one segment that I was talking about, and then Pantheon was also talking about something, the same thing, but different approach. The SEC Commissioner Pierce, that lady that everybody obviously hates. Why is it that on that regulation to regulate the ATSs, aka the dark pools, and expand all the horizons onto all the other players like Citadel and Virtue and Sequoia? Why is it that Virtue and Citadel both submitted comments, and they were one of the only two entities that were saying, no, this is terrible, don't do this, SEC, this regulation is stupid, it makes no sense, it's going to destroy more than it can help. And at the end, Virtue specifically said literally like a whole paragraph of why they so strongly agree with Commissioner Pierce. But they don't agree with Gensler, they don't agree with the other three. They only agree with Pierce. It's ironic, isn't it? It's a corrupt system, but at the end of the day, and it is going to be our moment when obviously that moment comes, and I feel it. I feel it very near, even though I've been in it for 2 years almost, but I feel it very, very, very near. These numbers can't be tolerated. Even the reported numbers that is reported are outrageous. Any other stock would have squozen a long time ago, and that's just what we know of. Imagine if the crazy layering that is happening in the background and the billions that are covered, if not by now, who knows, even trillions possibly, amongst even more probably, just on AMC alone. Over the past 2 years, I would not push it past that. In fact, I will leave you guys with another funny thing. GME. This is a prediction. It's not financial advice. And many of you subscribers in here know that I have a very nice position in GME from the beginning. That was my story. If you don't know me, if you just popped in as of late or any of that stuff, well, you get to know now. Feel free to check out the previous videos, and maybe you'll see some other views, and what you get to know me even a little better. But you're more than welcome to ask whatever questions you want to ask in here. I leave it very open. When the announcement of the dividend is going to be made, it's not the squeeze is not going to wait until after. Here's what I mean by my prediction here. Could you imagine if they do 7-to-1 or 3-to-1 stock split? Let's say they do 3, hypothetically speaking, because they hinted at that. We'll just use that. Even if the stock goes to 50, right? Which doesn't mean it went down. No, it's still going to be equivalent to 150. If it's 150 the stock price and they go 3-for-1, now each GME share you have is worth 50, but you have 3, which is equivalent to originally what you paid for that 1 share originally, right? 150. The reason why they won't wait until after the distribution, which is like why they would have to do it earlier than that, because think of it like this. This is kind of like a common sense or logic. If GME squoze, let's say today or tomorrow at from this zone, from 140, 130, 150, and let's say squeezes to hypothetically speaking again, so nobody call me, oh, bracket, such a bracketology experts, you don't need to jump in here and start talking about your paper hand or your gold hand and all that stuff, diamond hand. No, I'm saying hypothetically speaking, if it was to squeeze tomorrow, GME, that is, and each share went from this price that we see today, 150, 130, 140, 150, and it flies to 10,000. Okay, let's say it goes to 10,000 per share. Would that be lesser of a loss for them to try to cover for that and pay that 10,000 per share? Or would it be more of a loss to wait until after, which means they would have to pay for the dividend, which is astronomically, I don't know how that could happen, but let's say they were able to do the unimaginable and pay for the dividend and not cover their shorts. That only means, one, the price will surge by on that dividend issuance. So even if it goes at 50, and let's say when that time comes and it squeezes up to 1,000, literally, like even if it squeezes up to after the dividend that they gave out as well, that incorporates in the price, that $50 is no longer there. At that point, after the dividend and all that buying pressure goes in, because apparently we're assuming that they're going to pay for the dividend, they're not going to cover their shorts, which again, I have no clue fundamentally how they can do something like that or have enough funds to do something like that. But if they were to do that, then naturally you could expect the stock not to be at 50. It could easily go up to anywhere. It could go up to in the three digits back again to another 150 or whatnot. And at that point, if it squeezes from thereafter, so that's why, again, they can't wait until after because it makes no sense. They can't pay for the dividend, then still have all their shorts that they will have to still, they're paying fees on and still have to cover the shorts when people don't sell. Because I haven't heard any single person I know, for me, for example, even if they do the dividend, I have not heard any single person that says, oh yeah, as soon as we do the split, I'm selling and rebuying back in. That I've never even heard. And that I think is ludicrous in my head as well. So if the shares were to be split into three and GME squeezes to 5,000, from $50, it flew to 5,000. The bigger catastrophe here for them is that people are going to be making more. They're going to be paying more. So instead of the squeeze of one share now going to 10,000, as we agreed in that example that I'm bringing up here, it's not that I'm using realistic numbers. No, I'm using examples. If the squeezes now goes up to 10,000, is much more merciful for them than to somehow pay for the dividend. And on top of that, squeeze day comes, I don't know when after that, it comes, and each share, now you have, each person has 3 for their 1 that they had before. If you sell each, if it just squeezes to 5,000, it doesn't even need to squeeze to 10,000. If it squeezes to 5,000, that's an extra 5K you just made, courtesy of shorts being stupid. So what does that leave me with, or lead me to, is that when that record date or when that dividend date is announced, don't think that the shorts would still hold on to their shorts until after that. If they hold until after, that means they're going to pay out for the dividend and still hold all their short positions. Makes zero sense. Again, there's not even enough money for some shit like that. If they do something like that, wow, that's like, everybody could expect to honestly start think about billions, like Boss says, just from that play alone. So again, I just wanted to leave you guys with some fun thoughts. That wasn't, I'm not giving out any advice, but think of it again. Just be a practical thinker. They have all these shorts on hand, whether AMC or GME, but since GME is doing a stock split, a reverse stock split via dividend, that's a big, explanation mark right there. Since they're doing that, we're talking about them. If I was a short, and this is why I want people to think like this. If I was a short and have a short position, I've been way over leveraged on it. And now I can see the shorts that I'm holding I have to either be forced to pay for that dividend, which is going to be astronomical, and still hold on to my shorts, which has already been way over leveraged. It makes no sense. It can't, like, the pipe breaks right there. But even if they were able to not break that pipe right there and then, the bigger catastrophe is when, if they still have all the shorts, and now each person, if they had 100 shares, now they have 300 shares. And when this price squeezes, they'll make 3 times, or at least 2 times more than what they were originally bound to make, because there's more numbers now. So that's the interesting part right there. I wanted to leave you guys with that. For all my GME holders, much love to you. For all my AMC holders, much love to you. I'm going to read some comments and then I'm going to wrap it up. See if there's any questions. If you guys have any questions, please put them in here so we can tackle them right before Friday comes in tomorrow, which we will see what will happen in that. Literally, any questions you guys have, please go ahead, throw them in. Avoiding naked streams. P2 two apes ain't gone nowhere, man. Much love, Adrian. Whimsy chick, you got that right. Future billionaires. See, even Jeffrey's saying too, and Jeffrey's been in the market for a long time. It's a good friend of mine. Consider him a brother. It says, funny how nobody has ever heard of them. He's referring to AQR as well. And they're one of the biggest. What this tells me is the smaller shorts are worried, so they need others to show strength to keep them from closing their positions. Richard Mock. That's also another very good possibility, Richard. If AMC is going to Russell 1000 tomorrow, Whimsy Chick is saying, doesn't that prove AMC met requirements and is profitable? What the F? Well, here's the thing. It's mainly done by market cap, and that's what they're going after. We're not too enthusiastic on the fact that we are going to be in that. Yes, it's less volatile. Will be much harder to short in the Russell 1000. Okay, we get that. The problem is where we are in the Russell 1000 as far as ranking. That's where the issue is we go in there, we're going to be right at, like, toward the further stages, like closer to the top of that 1000, which means we get less of the institutional investments, or for people who invest with ETFs and retail, and they want to pay, and they say, hey, put my money in the Russell 1000 and I'm allocating this much. The first ones, or the higher ups in that Russell 1000, will get majority of that investment. It gets divided on all the stocks in that basket, So since we're going to be toward the end or at the top, we only get this much compared to if it was this much that was allocated to the Russell 1000. Pantheon, my friend Pantheon, breaks that down beautifully, and he actually broke that down to me and a bunch of other people. So that's what it really comes down to, Whimsy Chick, and to everybody. So I wouldn't put it past them to, try to short it by tomorrow, or bring the price down or keep it down. They might feed into people's hype, but again, today was Thursday. They want to get as many of these contracts out of the money. They were successfully able to do so, but in doing so, they have to also make sure that they don't get too many puts in the money as well. Let's look at this. I'm going to bring you this figure right here. So right now, apparently right now there are zero, available to short. earlier, this is so funny. Oh my God. Earlier, somebody took 50 shares for 18%. The reason why I'm laughing is like they literally went and bought, like they paid, they borrowed 50 shares. Isn't that like, this is shameful. This is very shameful. Majority of these shares, guys, that we're seeing right now came, I believe it was a few days ago. Yeah, I remember it was a few days ago when there was 400 short exempt shares that popped in and they scooped up, um, and that's what gave them this throttle down today, and all that got scooped up as well by the apes. In fact, we had more, again, yet again, we had more incoming orders, buying orders than selling orders, even on a red day, where all the index funds that we are in and that we track were in the green. Um, so far we have call options out of the money. We have 124,000 roughly that are out of the money. Only 8,000 in the money. Puts, they have 31,000 out of the money, roughly almost 32,000, and we have in the money we have only 12,000. So it's important that they obviously get these percentages going like that. Now, I will also look at what we need to do tomorrow and how we need to go about it. 1 second. One moment, please. I'm going to bring you guys these things. All right. So we got the, all right. So most of these calls were let go. So most of the $12 calls were, looks like they were sold today because the open interest is very low compared to the volume on it, which means most people sold that. 23. Oh yeah, that's why they brought it down to this range, because this is the least hurtful range for them. But what kind of day should we expect tomorrow? Um, it's actually in the options chain. It's not very clear. This is the only place that they would need it to. If it drops below 12, this is why they, at the last few minutes of the trading session, we've seen that sudden surge right above 12, because under 12, um, you got we got many puts that will go into the money roughly at right around the 11, up till the 11. We got at least between 15 to 20,000 contracts or puts that could go into the money if they were to drop it underneath 12 all the way down to 11, or even under that will make it over, easily over 20,000 contracts or puts that goes into the money. And as far as for the calls, we're expecting, if this thing Okay, there we go. Yeah, they're only best places to keep it right around that 12 tomorrow. 11, the upper 11, uh, maximum right above 12, hover around the 12, 1205, like where we at right now. But as far as anything further, they definitely do not want to see it above 13. We hit 13 and up, that's when tides begin to shift, as in whose favor, into obviously in our favor. Um, so if I want to see something really interesting, I would love to break 13, 13 and a half if possible tomorrow. Doesn't look very likely, but if we were to do that, then a bunch more calls and even puts get into the money here, and obviously they will result into some sort of small little probably gamma next week. But again, they're very thirsty for this. We're not in this just for this, because the premiums that they're making on this, while it's a lot, is not also coinciding with the amount that they're paying in the dark pools. They're getting all that stuff in the dark pools. The reason why all the crime is happening there is because it's not regulated and they don't have to report shit. It's literally like it's like the name is very representative, dark pool. And it's not supposed to be like that, but that's how it's been. And that's what the SEC is trying to regulate on that, with that regulation of the ATS. And that's why obviously Citadel and Virtue, the likes of Citadel and Virtue, does not want that to come down or go through like that. Because even when they go in these dark pools, it's not like people are selling their AMC shares there, or other institutes are selling their AMC shares there to, for less. No, they're selling it for a lot more. But the people that are there are not going to be retail. The people that are there are all institutional. So whatever happens between all of them stays between all of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're buying batches of AMC shares for 300 or 400 a share or 500 a share, because institutions look at this play differently other than us, not like us with the same expectations, because they own many shares. The crazier part also, guys, is that the ETFs is where we also are getting another end where we're getting screwed at, because the people who invest in these ETFs, they don't get to, like, for example, when people tell their investing portfolio manager to go ahead and invest for them, they go invest in ETFs. They're telling them like, oh, look, the S&P 500 or the iRussell 1000 or the iRussell 2000. Thing is, people would need to ask themselves this question: why is there some sort of conflict of interest also there? Here, I'll break that down for you. It's because the way that portfolio manager and the people who are in those ETFs, the way that they make money is by lending out shares for shorting. That's how they make money. So imagine if a Citadel or a Virtue reaches out to an ETF manager and says, hey, we see that in the iRussell 2000s, you got this. And in the iRussell 1000, they approach this other ETF and they say, hey, you got this. And we would like to borrow from you this X amount of shares. Because while we are going to invest in those ETFs, or many people are investing in ETFs, and whether the S&P 500 or the iRussell 1000 or 2000, when people are investing in there, by default, some of the money that they're investing goes on to, for example, in the iRussell 2000, goes on to AMC. And right there and then, that's when these ETF managers go ahead and lend out shares for a premium. And most people don't even see any of that, because it goes straight to the ETF. You still hold your shares there, they're just being lent. The only thing I'm worried for people who invest in these ETFs and all that stuff in these baskets is what will happen to you when all those ETFs crash, when the market completely crashes, and you approach and you say, hey, you know what, I want my money back or whatever. They give you, like, obviously you lost your money, so there's no more money. But all those shares that you see that are constantly keep coming from ETFs and they're getting, it's It's because all these ETF portfolio managers are all on the take. They keep lending these shares out to them because the people who own them don't even know they really own them. And the ones they do know that they own this X amount, the small percentage of AMC or GME and such ETF, they're just investing in those ETFs to make money. And the ETFs will say, hey, we're lending out shares. We're also growing. So we're making money on both fronts. Now, those people who are doing that, odds are they're not AMC or GME specifically investors. So to them, hey, we are okay with however way it comes. Those ETFs, that's where majority of those institutional lent shares, because people keep asking this question of where they getting shares from. Well, of course, there's a lot of naked. Of course, there's a lot of synthetic, but you need to pay attention to these ETFs because that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. They're lent from there. And that's how those ETFs make money, by lending out shares. It's fucked up, isn't it? Sorry for the F word. I don't say that normally. You know, I don't like having a filthy mouth. But again, when I'm an overly passionate person and emotional person, and at the same time, when I see wrong, I can't keep quiet about it. I just can't, even if it has nothing to do with me. You know, I just can't. But this have everything to do with me and you. So yes, if you want me to even read it out to you, where can I find this for you? I just had to share that with you guys so that in case if you didn't know this, well, now you know this. See, listen to this. A large financial institution asks to borrow a stock or a bond from an ETF. Okay. The ETF asks for collateral to secure the loan. Now, here's the thing. Are they really getting collateral? This is where I'm worried for these people who invest in these ETFs, because the portfolio manager have all the sway on what they do. So they can continue saying at the end of every quarter, at the end of every year, yeah, we grew this much. That's why it's important for you to invest with a broker who will go ahead and invest in the S&P 500 and all the index funds. And you stay in the dark. You don't need to know what's happening, because the ETFs ask for collateral to secure the loan. Number two, once the collateral is received, the ETF lends the stock or the bond to the financial institution, which is AKA the borrower. And this is happening nonstop, by the way, guys. So it's important to also know that if you're one of those people who are asking where are these shares coming from, it's not only synthetic or only naked and all that stuff. No, these ETFs, that's a root of a big problem for us, because they lend those shares. And my biggest worry is when they lend those shares, are they really getting the collateral needed for that? Not that I'm worried, because either way, those shares, yes, they add more shorts on our play. For me, that makes my payout even larger. So when they get squeezed, they got more shit to clean now. So think of it like this. The more shit they add, the more shit they got to clean later. And the people who are investing in these ETFs, which is going to be majority of it, are going to be 401ks of people who majority of them don't even know what's happening, that it is happening. And these portfolio ETF managers would go ahead and do all this stuff behind on their name. And then when everything crumbles and the recession hits and everything falls, That's why people can't come back and say to the, for example, to the I Russell 1000, oh, why, what happened? My 401k is slashed in half or even more. 80% of it is gone. Well, yeah, everything fell. Just hold on. The market rebounds. Well, I'm retiring this year. It's we understand all financial advisors and brokers are trained to tell people that, hey, even if there happens to be a downtime, there's always a reversal. The S&P 500 has proved that it always climbs back within a few years and always brings in yields anywhere between 5 to 12% profits. So hold on, you're going to be back up again. Well, that might be something that a 25 or a 27-year-old might, even though they were going to be very pissed, but they might not swallow or be able to take, like somebody like that could probably take it, a 27, 28-year-old. But what if it was somebody who's due to retire this year or next year and the recession happens? What happens to their 401ks? What happens to them? They're well into their late 60s and they're about to finally, after all their life given to the corporate world, which was already an imbalance anyways. I consider that being on them, but I sympathize with the people who are in those positions, and many millions are going to be in those positions. What do those people do? Oh, just wait your 401k when you're well into your late 70s, or if you live that much or that far, you're going to get it. It's going to go back up. Okay, let's keep on reading so I can wrap this up. Again, if you guys have any questions, please put them in there. Oh yeah, but said that we can't put out a Top Gun every week. Well, neither do we need to. Mr. Assness, stop making an ass of yourself. Everything that comes out of your mouth makes you more of an ass that you are. Why would we want, or why would AMC want to put out a movie, a blockbuster, and then a week later put out another blockbuster to end the reign of this one, to make to lick, like to milk out the benefits and reap out more benefits from each blockbuster? There needs to be a time zone in between. Like, it makes no sense for us to have Top Gun and then the very next week the Avengers are out. Top Gun is not going to do that much because everybody else is the next new thing. So we're not worried about that, Mr. Asness. You worry about that $150 billion of funds that you own, that you are managing in your hedge fund, that are going to be you know what? I'll give you a final advice, Mr. Asness, and I will not address you anymore unless you make more waves or more headlines. Um, you should go ahead and work on that letter that Gabe was worked on from Melvin to the world. You should go ahead and work on the rough draft, make a better one so that you don't look as funny as he did when he asked them to go ahead and reinvest with him. Okay? That's my final advice for you, Mr. Asness. Go ahead and start working on that letter, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You'll see. Mr. Panulo, good afternoon to you as well. Sorry, I'm getting back to you now. I just wanted to cover everything, and now I'm covering some of the comments. Um, and let's see. I'm looking for some of these questions. Cindy, how are you? Who bought more shares today? Well, hopefully, I'm assuming you did, Cindy, in here in this case. And kudos to you. Good stuff, Peter Jefferson. Tell dog. Coinbase and Binance US will crumble. Yeah. Well, there's a second person that sees eye to eye with me as well on this. Cindy, shit, man, you're scaring me. I'm gonna transfer my ship out right now. Yo, no, 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 no. AB is not convincing anybody to do any of that stuff or anything. Um, it's again, if you're in shib or any other coin, in any play in general, why did you get into it from the beginning? If you got into it because of hype, then your foundation are going to be very shaky. If you have your own conviction on the play and why you got into shib, then you can tackle this differently. And you could say it's much easier to average down than to have to, get in when it's at a very, very high price later. So again, if you have the conviction, you're going to approach this differently. If you don't have the conviction, you're going to go about this also completely differently as well. So yeah, I'm not saying doing all this or transferring or any of that stuff. Well, Coinbase, if you are with Coinbase, remember that they actually came out and said that, hey, if we go down, your assets could go down too, to all their investors, which is the worst thing any professional entity can say. Let's say we are in the streets, and in the street, literally, that's not professional, in the street, and we're talking, and I'm trying to give you something, you're trying to take something back from me. The last thing I can tell you to make the deal not fall through is, hey, if you give me this money, I just got to let you know, I need $500 from you. Please look out for me, and you're a friend of mine. Again, this is not a professional thing, just friends. And then at the end, I'll tell you before you give me the 500, hey, guess what? Or after you gave me the 500, I'll tell you, there might be a way that I can't pay you back this. Is that okay? I just want to let you know that, like, if I go under, logically, I wouldn't have $500 to give you back. Now, at that point, my friend is either gracious and say, you know what, I never gave you the 500 to expect it in return. I just wanted to help a friend out. Well, in the professional world, that does not exist. So when an entity comes out and tells its investors something like that, for me, I ran the opposite direction from Coinbase, not from the coins or the investments that I was in. Long time ago, I've said I was already out of most of the coins. I've sold most of all of my Dogecoin back on that January run up, and that's what catapulted me more to increase more in GME and AMC in a big way. And then June of 2021 happened, and that was amazing in the option world, and I was able to further increase my positions in GME and AMC specifically, and a bunch of other memes I've mentioned previously on previous lives or videos. So that has nothing to do with my conviction on the coins. Yeah, I transferred. If I had coins, I transferred them from Coinbase to a cold wallet, to a cold storage wallet. But I'm not, like, when something like this tells me, when a company I'm with or investing with tells me something like that or says something like that, yeah, it's for the birds. I'm not staying here. Mr. Spedifino, how are you doing, Tony? Beth, how are you doing, my friend? Good afternoon to you as well. Let's see. Okay. Leah, nice to see you in here, my friend. Okay, I'm skipping through almost all of this to see. Yeah, I know one thing about Binance is that they have officially started doing that on Doge and Ethereum, Bitcoin, and a bunch of other coins. Last time I checked, they were already kind of wrapped with proof of ownership, proof of asset, which is extremely important and a huge step forward in the crypto realm. Which is why I also agree that Binance is not something that I see probably going down, but they will definitely burn. Like everything, every institution in this time, when the ball drops, everybody's going to feel it. The people who are head on front of it are going to be stepped right, like they're going to be stepped all over. Remember the scene, that sad scene from The Lion King when Mufasa was like, Jafar went ahead and threw Mufasa into the herds of buffaloes, and he was just stepped on by so many buffaloes. We are those bulls. Imagine us. We are those bulls. We're running all over them. Luna, how are you doing, my friend? Kim A, how are you doing? Good, good. Skim through, see if there's any questions. Future Well, how are you, brother? Long time no see. Hopefully, all is good. Have a great rest of your shift, brother. Nice to see you in here. In your base. Yo, what's up with you, brother? Jeffrey. Yep, I agree with you, Arthur. Couldn't agree with you anymore. The stock whiz. F the hedges. I echo that sentiment as well. The government is in bed with the short sellers. If it's not obviously obvious, guys, then I don't know what is. That's what I added onto the stock whiz comment. I agree with you, stock whiz. The stock was the issue is the squeeze might take years to get it. So here's I agree with you and I disagree with you from this perspective. Here's where I agree with you that squeezes in general take years. This one is even different because we're up against everything on that other side. This never happened before. Normally, it's two sides, like one guy against another guy, two rich individuals or two rich hedge funds, institutes, and they go collide, and whoever comes out victorious wins and collects the spoils, and the other one gets vaporized. Now, in this one, we're going against the whole. Like, if this was a show, we skipped to the final season. We didn't go through season 1, 2, 3, and 4. We just went to the final season and we brought all the bad people, all the bad monsters or whatever, and put them all in one season. And now we're going against all, which is even more lucrative. I mean, yes, It is going to, as we see, we're going to go through a lot of headache and a lot of bullshit, but it's going to be more rewarding when it's all over with. Here's the thing where I also disagree is that this play, the years that began on this play, if you go back, there's a good argument you could come up with and say that AMC has been really shorted since all the way back since 2015 and come on up, even maybe a couple of years even prior to that. So we've been already in that process, and the market that we're in, the conditions that we are in, nothing can keep nothing can keep this market like this. Doesn't matter who fed or not, for years. Nothing. Years, as in like past this point where we at right now. Now, does that mean AB is saying tomorrow we're squeezing or next month? No, but but we are much closer to the end than the beginning of this. When most people got into this, again, I don't know about most people. For me, it's been September 2020. So, so it's not more of a disagree with you, as in like you're wrong. No, I agree with you. Obviously, it takes years, but where I am is that the year counts, or the years count, doesn't start now. It already begun even before COVID happened, and it was capitalized upon and viciously added way more shorts on it as soon as COVID hit, because AMC was a great target. So was GME for all shorts, because it's an industry that counts on retail not just investors, retail foot traffic to conduct business and make money. The business was already in debt, a lot of rent. Even Adam Aaron said that about it. A lot of rent owed onto it. People didn't really flock to AMC because everybody used to go everywhere, Sandmark, everywhere, and it was just, life was different. Then AMC mania happened, and for them, so for the shorts, it was like, okay, this is this is where we need to, like, for years of shorting AMC, this is where we stab the dagger right into the jugular. And they were wrong, because we came out of nowhere unexpectedly. We came and we were on the opposite end. And that's why in January of 2021, this whole craziness happened of, when GME broke out to the 400s and AMC was stopped short right there in the 20s. No, you're not allowed to go further. We can't do this. What the hell is happening? They look at the numbers and like, oh shit, what are we going to do? That's why they took a whole, what was it, like a week of, you can't trade these assets except close, sell them. And then in that week, I believe in those days that they took off, that's when they came up with the ideas of how can we kick this down the line more. This is when they came and incorporated the, many other major pieces. I'm not going to say what, so it won't be like, a hit on me now after that. I've been shorted enough as is for this. I don't want to get lawsuits now. But they incorporated many different elements back in that suspension time frame, back in 2021, January of 2021, and which is what paved the way for us to go down this path. Can they carry this on years longer than this? No. The only way they can do it is if everybody lets go of these stocks. Everybody. Then they can bury all the crime. Again, for me, you're gonna have to bury me with it, with the crime too, and that's even a bigger crime then. So that's me. I don't know about everybody else, but I speak for myself. So I don't see by any means years where we are like this. And plus, the market can't go into a full-on recession, and it can't go into the recession that they want, by the way, the market to go into a recession so they can reset everything and start the effery all over again. This is why, guys, this happens once every 12 to 15 years. People had this, like, this myth about, oh, stock market always, and the economy always, every 12 to 15 years, there has to be a breakdown. It doesn't have to be. If it's built correctly, it doesn't have to. The reason why it goes through that is because we can call it a cycle. The markets go through these cycles that they anticipate, because when it's in the bottom, absolute bottom, This is where they load up on everything. And this is where they start giving out more loans, encourage people to get, like, things start getting better. Then we start having an inverse, we start having a curve, like, not a curve view. We're going to have a up production, everything. And it goes up, but all that manipulation is happening already in the background, and you don't see it throughout rehypothesized loans over and over again. This guy makes his percentage, then reloans this same loan to somebody else, or the same mortgage, they lend it out to somebody else with a higher markup so they can make their money. And it goes into a cycle further and further and further until it gets to a point where there can't be any more money skimmed out of this. So the best thing to do is to screw everybody who's a part of the system except themselves. And that's how transfers of wealth happens to the upside, or is siphoned to the upside. Instead of it being coming down here, it's going up to the people who's sitting on top. And when they get that, and it's time to short for a recession, it's also in their best interest to really put the market in a recession, so they can go ahead and also short the whole market, the entire market. They know where it's going. They know how it's happened. They've been doing this for so many decades. So they know the recipe for success and disaster. And therefore, they make money on the way down, and they go ahead and make more money on the way back up as well. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious, guys. All right, let's see. Bitcoin will be overthrown as number one, just a matter of time, in my humble opinion. I mean, probably, tell dog. I respect the opinion. In your base, people work for over 40 years for a retirement, and apparently a couple of years is too much for generational wealth, right? Right, in your base? I totally agree with you. They are not doing tapering. They are saying they are doing tapering, but nothing is happening. Well, the stock was, here's why they're, here's what they said. They do the tapering at the end of every month. So as long as it's, I don't know how they're going to do this. I've said this like in the beginning of this month, but um, it they could, I'm assuming the way that they're going to go about it is that throughout the whole month they could do whatever left and right, like a wild west episode or movie. And then at the end of the month, let's take out 45 billion. So yeah. Arthur Martin, much love to you, brother. I feel nothing but love for you all. Much love back to you too as well, brother. Cindy's saying they're getting paid to help the billionaires. Well, yeah. How do you guys think people get voted in and put vetted into offices and in seats? I'm not bringing this stuff, guys, up as a conspiracy or anything. Go look; it's in front of you. The scandal of all Congress members that were involved in that scandal of trading. This is why it enticed the uproar to change the rules. These guys all were trading under, uh, like, they were trading under conflict of interest. They knew things like the glamorous Nancy Pelosi, who apparently is a better trader than even Warren Buffett ever was. Um, she's, again, I've always said this. She's in the wrong career. Like, she should have been a stock investor all along. Why is she in the house? They only pay her what, like 140, 240,000, whatever. It's definitely not a million a year. She's making way more than that in the stock market. She has a real true hunch for it. And she's married to a hedge fund manager as well. who caught not too long ago, got caught under DUI driving like a maniac in California. How adequate, right? These are the leaders we have that apparently that are tackling issues in the world. This is who they are. But all that scandal got caught. I'm not reporting this from my own conspiracy theories. No, this was reported. And just so you guys would know, all those Congress members that were caught into that crap, that basically were making trades based on info that they had access to, kind of like obviously a benefit they got due to their position. And when they released that paper, not future, unusual whales got that post pinned still until today, I believe, on their portfolio. Feel free to go see that on Twitter, or search it on Google. It was many of them, and it wasn't a set party. So this whole red and blue stuff, like, you guys got it easy with this, because at the end of the day, we are all Americans and we are citizens. That play on the other side, what seems to be blue and red, is nothing but a sports rivalry. That's how they scooped it up to you, that, oh, you're team blue, and oh yeah, you support this, you're team red, and now fight or go against each other, disagree. At the end of the day, I don't give a shit which party that individual comes from. If it's the one, it's the freaking one. I don't care. Purple, blue, red, yellow, whatever it is, rainbow. If it's the one, it's the one. But the way that is structured is to mess with people's emotions and get them caught up in this reality so that they are completely clueless on what's happening. Good one, Tell Dog. I love these kind of posts like this. We want in this for things to be productive, or things that help the community. I love the playing around for all of us and everything, but there's a time for that and there's a place for that. So like something like this is amazing. I like this. I like questions, and I like this. Smooth brain apes have banded, not branded, banded together. We can say branded too, as one. As they fear us, we are the whale now. They shall not pass. And that, my brother, they shall not as well. How y'all feel about the cryptide announcement? Um, were you in when I said it a little bit ago and I was talking about it? We'll break it real quick. So it's June 29 now. The weird part about it is that it's announced like, hey, everybody, mark your calendars. It never works like this. When these announcements of something like that happen, it's kind of like on the day of, or in a situation where it's by surprise. It catches us by surprise completely. And this was not. This was like, okay, it's next week and if I'm not mistaken, let me see. I want to see something, and if it's true, then I'm gonna laugh my butt off. See how I like to keep it PG-13 in here. Wow. So it's a Wednesday. I literally was thinking deep down in my heart it's going to be a Friday so that they could just screw people on the options and do some weird shit then. Um, it's weird, Jeffrey. The way that is structured right now is weird. But I do know they said that a lot of people, if you have sold after May 18th, which was the record date, May 18th or the 16th, it was one of those days. I think it's the 18th. If you sold, even if you held until that record date and then you sold after, you're not going to be getting no cryptides. In order to get cryptide, you would have to have had your shares prior to the record date and held them well through the issuance or the distribution date, which is in these terms that they reported, is June 29th. So if you didn't sell and you're still holding, you never sold after and you never went in and out, which is, again, in my case, I've always said that. Like I was all cool with bbig, and I've said this before many months ago, that the most important thing I'm paying attention to was the cryptide more than even the squeeze, because I know that bbig is heavily effed with, even probably more than our plays. And the reason why I say this is because of the price of the stock. It's so cheap, anybody can jump in it and scoop up so much. So how much, the reason why they keep pushing the date of the dividend issuance is because personally, I doubt that there was many months where data was reported that there was way more shares that were bought on, for example, like for periods like BBIG, then AMC or even GME or even sundial in some cases. It's it's gonna be crazy. But for me personally, as I always said, that I was into it for the cryptide. The squeeze comes along with it because they're over leveraged anyways with that. So they either issue the dividend, pay it, or before the 29th, they will be covering their shorts. And again, since it's next week, could we possibly be positioned for a Monday or a Tuesday crazy run, or tomorrow even on BBIG? Because again, there's no way that they can issue out those cryptide dividends, at least that I know of, without having to cover their shorts or pay for all the dividend and still hold their shorts. It makes no sense. So in order for us to receive that dividend, it's like it works in a way in where this is what leads me to believe that, this whole 29th thing is being fixed to be a nothing burger so that they can re-push it again. They're going to say something. They're going to come out with something on the 29th and say, oh, it's on Wednesday too, so that they can entice people to buy a lot of options today, tomorrow, next week maybe. And by Wednesday, that's when they get the news saying that, hey, they're going to re-push it again because there's an issue with something, and further get more people completely pissed and angry at what's happening, and get you all to feel like that this is a nothing burger every time. And I feel it. But if that was not true, if they're not going to give us a BS and they really are going to issue it on the 29th, that only means, to me, from my experience in the market, that only means that we will squeeze before the 29th, because there is no way in hell that they can go ahead and not like issue dividend for what? For stocks that they were only able to count the whole float. What about the multi-layering? But even then, are they going to go ahead and issue out all these dividends, all these cryptides, pay for it from themselves? It makes no sense. That the only sense that I could see them doing all this effery, and by doing so, they also prolong, not end BBIG, but prolong the craziness on it, is if they somehow go ahead and buy the dividend, because again, it's 10 for 1. So 10 BBIGs for 1 cryptide. And if they pay for that, yes, you will see a squeeze in cryptide, not necessarily in BBIG, but they will still be holding all their short positions on BBIG. So if people don't give up also on BBIG, they're screwed on both ends. So either way, it's a win-win situation. I just don't see how they're gonna run. Which sword will which choose your weapon of preference? That's what they basically, like, how I see it. If it's gonna squeeze, if the dividend really is rolled out on the 20th, on the 29th, then this thing has to be dealt with. The shorts have to be dealt with prior to that happening. If this dividend is not really going to be given out, then they will roll it, and on the 29th, they will give us the nothing burger. If they choose to pay for the dividend, yes, cryptide will squeeze, but BBIG, they will still be over leveraged on that. So they're effed on either front. That's what I think, Jeff. In all, like in general, in all. In your base, the play has not changed. Buy, hodl, wait for shorts to cover. Patience is key. Insert Buffett quote about impatient investors. I like it in your base. The stock whiz, they need to replace their whole market system. If they don't, Citadel will always be in control and nothing is going to change. It, it's I mean, I totally agree with you. And that's the thing. These guys are already, the reason why I have said this many times too, that we have won already, guys, is because they're already moving on to the next project. And I reported it to you guys, and I'm going to make another full, hopefully, episode on this. But they're becoming market makers. They're working. They're just waiting for the go ahead from the lawmakers, them, Virtue, and Sequoia. The market makers we're dealing with the crap over here, they're becoming market makers in the crypto realm. This is why, again, you see the crypto dump, because somebody is behind this, and I would not be putting it past those three stooges or those three devils. And that way they can make space for themselves, so they can come in and corner the market. Oops. Let's see. It skipped on me. Where did it skip to? Did it skip far? I think it did. I think I was way behind. Yeah, I'm skinning. Where am I? Where is yeah, I skipped really far. Okay, I'm gonna start like my like Pantheon says. I'm gonna start right here. No. Ah, yeah, it wouldn't be fair for the other people who had comments when we were waiting. I wouldn't. Let's see. Wow, I was really behind you guys, like really that far. Okay, I found myself. I feel like I'm reminding you guys of somebody that start like I'll give you a hint that starts with the name of Joseph F. Is it Joseph F. Dot? You fill in the blank. Couldn't find myself for a long time, and now I find myself. No, I really wasn't there. Okay, this I think yeah, right there. Corbin Dallas SNDL looking good, about 25% on the week. I doubled down at 29 cents. Good for you, Corbin. Now remember, the way that they play the game is not necessarily just day to day. But you did very, by the way, for you, for your sake, you came in at a very good price. Many people got into the 80 cents, the dollar range, the 70, the 60, the 50 even. And look at you, you even slashed that in half. Kudos to you, right? Um, and when you think about like this, for them, they don't play just day to day. They think about it like they play a week to a month and 2 months in advance. And how what I mean by that, as in if they take a stock down, like, or put it up like yesterday. They brought down stocks, or enough to a certain level, and then they propped them up, and you're going to see probably by tomorrow they're going to bring them right back down, so the same levels. So normally at the beginning of the week, toward the end of the week, you end up almost the same. Now, will they bring sundial by the end of this week 29% tomorrow, only just tomorrow? I don't see that. Also, it is bullish that they are putting in their bid to purchase another uh, another establishment. So that's a very good plus, all for sundial, and all those things are adding up and adding up. So when that time comes, it's going to get its due diligence back again. So good for you, Corbin. Let's see. In your base at Arthur Martin, make sure your device. Oh, okay. That is not a question. Cindy, will the Nano X support all crypto? I mainly have SHIB and Doge. I think you should be good. I think you should be good. Um, Cindy, most yes, Doge and SHIB will be fine in it. Yes. Okay. Thanks for the confirmation, Tell Dog. One of the reasons why I also love you, brother. They're scared to open up a big position. Of course they are. That's why I issued that announcement to all these hedge funds out there. Okay. 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 Good, good, good. Look at you guys. Before I even get to these questions, you guys are tackling them. The crazy thing is where they corner. I like the answers that I'm seeing here. Good job, Tell Dog, and in your base. Uh, very, very great, and grateful for your addition also into the family. This is great as far as for the crypto realm. One thing that also people got to keep in mind is that when transfers are made, there are gas charges, and this is a way to sometimes, like when I, for example, a while ago, I haven't done any much big transfers. I still hold some Ethereum, and that's just the only thing that I still hold a lot of. Some more small other stuff like the Elon, Doge Leon, sorry, coin, stuff like that. But very, very, like when I say like minuscule, like something that it's kind of like an investment that you throw money away for me. Uh, but when I wanted to transfer once, I remember from Coinbase, my Ethereum holdings, and this was like a year ago. No, not a year ago. This was like six months ago. When I transfer those, the fund, like, it was going to cost me like almost as much as the transfer in gas fees to transfer them from there to a different wallet or a different place. So that's another thing that guys got to pay attention to, for all the other people who are asking about when they want to transfer and get out of that stuff. Okay. Thanks for sharing the Discord, Tell Dog. I appreciate you, brother. Tampa Bay Buckeye. All right. How's that even possible? A Tampa Bay Buckeye? Don't forget IMAX and Odeon contracts that the media totally failed to mention. LOL. Ah, good point. They definitely do fail to mention that. All right. I'm almost, like I said, wrapping up. I'm just looking for questions or anything. Pantheon is in here. Or sorry, brother. I just now take, I'm getting to the comments, but I just had to tackle all the other stuff earlier, prior to me getting hacked on the first one. It would be great if the chats actually were along the lines of what the host is talking about. Thank you, Pantheon. I appreciate it. And that's the funny thing is like, yeah, it's this is how we can, guys, educate and re-educate ourselves and get them more info out and distribute it very, 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 very productively. Is in that manner. Is obviously we're talking about stocks. I understand people want to talk about the salad or whatever it is, that all the other stuff that is happening, but it's tough sometimes to see. Like, we'll have a lot of quiet time where I'm like trying to scroll and see past that kind of stuff, and Pantheon goes through a bigger headache than that with me. So I feel the pain, brother. It's much love to obviously all of you guys. I'm not saying don't conversate with each other and get to and talking back and forth with each other. But it's very beautiful when it's about like what Inyo Base and Tell Dog was doing just a little bit ago. I love that. I really, really love that. After all, we are all here to learn. I'm here to learn. I'm not teaching. I'm the one who's speaking in front of this. But that doesn't mean I have the answers to everything or even close to anything. Many of you guys here know way more than I do. I look up to all of you guys as well. So I'm always, like I said, like, you always want to be a student in life, because you're by default gonna somehow be a teacher, intentionally or unintentionally, for someone who didn't know something. But as you're learning, you're gonna be unintentionally a teacher at the same time, because you're learning, and when you're redistributing that info, you're teaching it to someone else, even if you don't consider yourself a teacher. Because the day you forget that you are a student, or you stop learning, is the day that your growth or your life really stops or ends. That's where it all ends, because you're no longer growing as an individual and as a wealth of knowledge. So continue to invest in yourselves, people. Cindy, well, you're welcome. Thanks for taking the Discord invite. And, don't worry, we are all noobs in everything. So we're here for you. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Yes, Tell Dog, the corruption, it is definitely mind-boggling. Tell Dog, AB, thoughts of when we might actually see the stock market hit the blockchain? I know the Cat 6 system was delayed. Imagine that. Honestly, I don't know. I'm assuming somewhere around, they mentioned stuff along the lines of like 2024 So I'm thinking that around there, 2023, toward the end of 2023, 2024 maybe, but I'm not too on that honestly yet. So better people would know more about that. Pantheon probably would know, or who else? Boss might know. Many other, obviously, I'm not going to say those are just my two first options, that I think of. But yeah, any of that. The funny thing is, like, another thought came into my head as I was talking, and that thought was, there are people that are calling out choose leaders and all that stuff. There's no leaders in this movement, guys. You are your own leader. You do what the hell you want to do. Um, it's ludicrous to follow. The reason why they can't be a leader in this is because the leader normally has a lot in stake and also pays the price or to recover all the people that are following him. He tries to, or she tries to, compensate them. We all know that in these situations, everybody's on their own. We are holding as a community or as a movement. We are holding together. But if you lose or if you win, no one is going to come share either your sorrow or your spoils with you. Yeah, the community will feel for it because you're part of the community, or they will be happy for you, in other words, as well. But at the end of the day, you reap the rewards or the mistakes that you cause upon yourself in this kind of situation in life, which is all investments. Good evening, Veronica Chase. How are you doing, my friend? Veronica, I've seen a comment that you had earlier, and I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for uh, uh, saying what you've said. You know what I'm talking about. So appreciate you, Veronica, and hopefully we don't. I aim to always please, and hopefully I don't come up short to any of you guys in here as well. Adrian, has GME given out a number officially of what the split count will be? Actually, no, they haven't. They've hinted at 3-1, and there are these rumors of 7-1. But ultimately, the ultimate answer is no. That has not been given out yet, as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge. Yes, Pam. How are you doing, Pam? Sorry. Yeah, it did cut off magically as I was in the midst of like climbing up high, talking emotionally. I was up here, and suddenly it got cut off. And I was like, "What? Ah, come on, not this shit again, guys." Jeffrey, that's an SAV. Yes. All I know is I better get my DV from them. Otherwise, I'll go full blown Karen mode on JP Morgan. I love that, Cindy. I'm going to see Elvis movie tonight. Yes, look at that. I got this funny camera settings now is back again to like when I move, it does this auto focus. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that on the next stream. It goes back by itself onto it. I hate that. How would a reverse split affect shorts? Say in a hypothetical last resort for sundial compliance $1, Corbin Dallas. Um, it's a very good question, Corbin. It's not via how would it like it's if like I would personally, okay, think of it like this. I understand a lot of people who are in sundial who does not want to see a reverse stock split, but I asked them, all those holders, I said the CEO himself of sundial mentioned that if they must do a reverse stock split, they will, just to stay in the NASDAQ requirements and stay listed. A lot of people say, no, let it just go to the OTC market. Um, well, if that's the answer, then good luck in the squeeze. No, there's no more squeeze in that. Yeah, you will have volatility in the OTC market, but you're the high fly hopes it's over, is done at that point. So honestly, personally, for me, the way I approached it was, okay, when I was buying sundial at 60, 70, and 50 cents, now I have an opportunity periodically to buy it in the 20s. So if I've had a certain figure, because again, we approach everything with a plan, right? I vouch for that a lot. I know Pantheon vouches that a lot for that. So have a plan, have a plan, have a plan. So if I had a figure in my head prior to this announcement about, or the hints about reverse stock split, let's say I wanted to make $50,000 out of Sundial, hypothetically speaking. And if I felt like a reverse stock split can, oh, when that happens, that means there will be less shares. So if I had 100 shares, now I would, if they were to do 10 for one or 5 for one, whichever the case may be, to comply with the requirements, then now I would have, you know, much less. I would have 10 at that in that case shares instead of 100. So how I approached it was more of, I would go ahead and load up more on the 20 cent range, or like right now, take advantage of these, like, uh, was it you, Corbin, that did this? Yeah, I think it was you that bought it in the 29 cent range. So I would rebuy the amount that I feel like, if this makes any sense. So if they did a 10 to 1, I buy the amounts now for cheaper, so that when they do 5 for one, even better, 10 for one, I already incorporated that within my plan, so that I'm still going to aim and get my numbers when the squeeze come about. If the squeeze comes about, again, my conviction in the plays that it does. So I incorporated that into my plan so that I still can reach the expectations that I have. You know, if that makes any sense, I'm glad. If people have other things or other ways, please, I'm all ears, and everybody wants to learn. We are one family and one community in here. Good question, Corbin. Tell dog saying, good question. Thought it was going to be 3 to 1 stock split. Yeah, could be. So I factored all that in now at a lesser value, so that when it comes to do time to do that, I would still be able to have the certain amount of shares that I was aiming for anyways, so that when the squeeze happens, it's all in, it's all incorporated, and I still have access to possibly, hopefully, get to the numbers that I planned for from the get-go. Thank you, Pam. Have a great day. What do you think about ticker symbol box D, potential red box 2.0? Um, I haven't checked this one out, and this is rare that I would say this, but hey, let's see. Okay. So right off the rip, volume. Okay. So for the volume that I see here on the stock price that I'm looking at, this is not very encouraging. For me personally, it's not very encouraging at these levels. Like Redbox. When Redbox happened, I don't think, how do you pronounce your name? I mean, well, you can't tell me. So I hope I'm pronouncing it. I'm not butchering it. But say, I'll tell you this. With Redbox, I actually said, and many people in here can fact check this, back when it was in the $2-3 range, even in the $1.48, $1.49, something like that range, I looked at the technicals and I said that, hey, their level that personally for me, since I wasn't a die hard on Redbox, my mission has always been AMC, GME, and a couple of more meme stocks, and that's been it. And I stick to that plan. The thing is, with Redbox and many others, as I do a lot of day trading as well, these things I need to be in this time, in this market that we're in today. I'm not jumping in with all the risks that are around, all the volatility that are around. I'm jumping in only on sure runners. How do I see that? Through technicals. What my technicals told me with Redbox was that 850 and higher, as soon as it breaks that 850, $8.60 range, that at that point it was it is confirmed that it's on a reversal trend to go past and go up to, and I literally mentioned this in one of the lives, to 18 and well beyond $18. And after that, I couldn't see obviously where it could go past that. And little that we knew, yes, Redbox did break the $18 smallly, like 18 and some change. And then we've seen it in this realm now and going back down. So it could be. I'm not going to say no. I'm looking at the volume, not very impressive. Um, it went down 18% today, which means yes, a lot of people, a lot of short, but there is a lot of buying in the after hour. It's just not showing. 2% does not equate to this chart right here. So there is some potential for sure in this. But in order for me to feel like this is a play I am that is worth for me jumping into, holy smokes. I need it to go. Wow, it's so far away from this. Ooh, holy not. Um, just on a technical level and not knowing anything about the play, this is not a safe play for me. Again, not financial advice. It needs to break for me on my technicals in order for me to see a confirmed reversal to the top. I need to see it to break $7.50 and look where it's at right now. Yeah, it's possible. It's very possible, but that's where, if for me, that's what I would jump in because I'm not so much concerned about making crazy amounts of profits and timing it at the bottom because all my attention and goal is focused something somewhere else. So I'm looking at this as a day trader, and as a day trader, for me, I'm not going to jump here unless I'm willing to, you know, wait maybe a long time, and that's something I don't have. So therefore, I'm easily going to wait for that region around that 750 range, and then I would, as soon as it hits at that point, it will confirm a reversal. And for me, around anywhere around after that 750, anywhere around 1150, so I don't have to worry about risk of people selling off and catching another dump. It should break, if it goes this far, it should break the $12 region. But me personally, I'll be collecting my profits and getting out of the exiting out of this play. If I was in it at 750, 760, I would be getting out of it around the 1140 or 1130 range. So again, that's no, it's not advice. I'm not in this stock. I don't know. I just look at the technicals and that's what I see. That's my output on it. If you have 2 cents about it or different, or you see something different, please, I'm all ears and eyes as well. I can see it, and may the odds be in your favor if you're in this. Much love, say. P Duke 68. Is there a chance GME runs without AMC running, or vice versa? Or is that impossible? Nothing is impossible, my friend. Yes, there is a possibility, but the reason why we are in a similar pattern of algorithms, except for today, or some days here and there, the reason why we're seeing that, the reason why it's almost impossible for that not for that to really happen is because when one of these shorts, like for example, bbig, I once said before, is a measuring stick to our AMC and GME. In what sense? Not size or what numbers to expect and digits or brackets. Not in that sense. No, not at all. But the reason why it's a measuring stick is because what they would do with it in order how they will cover their shorts and that is what we're going to be looking at for us, because it's a small baby. BBIG is a mini GME and AMC play. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's crazier. But again, I know on the other side, the craziest play is AMC because they keep mentioning AMC all the time, attacking AMC way more than they attack any other meme, including GME. Um, it possesses the most risk for them, for their ecosystem, for their livelihood. It's clear. Even Mr. Asness made an ass of himself yesterday. Sorry, I'm addressing you again, Mr. Asness. By specifically saying AMC and the rest of the meme stocks. So when you pay attention to that, they're giving you, they're addressing their most threat psychologically. We could use their 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 ways of playing around with psychological effects with us and experiments. We could do the same thing on them through them. He doesn't know that he shared a little too much, because there are people out there like me that pay attention to every little letter that you put out there. So when you say AMC and the rest of the memes, they're addressing the biggest concern and all the other concerns. But this is the biggest. That's the way I translate that. Um, so when one of these guys, P Duke, not to prolong this answer, to put it all in one nutshell, when one goes, it's not gonna be late for the other to follow right after, because it's when these hedge funds are exposed on that end and they're forced to cover on one end, that means they got margin calls. They didn't get margin calls only on one play or on one thing. They will liquidate so that they can cover for all the other over leveraged positions, which means AMC will be in there. So I personally think that if they don't run, I personally strongly think that it's going to run together. If they don't, one is going to be right after the other. So good question, P Duke. That's my personal opinion. Hopefully we'll see what happens, and hopefully, um, either of those outcomes happen. AB, I am deep in GME, small amount of AMC. Both stocks are my lottery tickets. Yes, great, good for you, Veronica. I'm deep in both. Yes, I have more of AMC just by nature than GME, but my positions are not small. Like, it's since literally 2020 of September, adding and never selling a single share. Yeah, options I play with, but shares, sitting on them until it's time to, you know, let go. Let go, Jack. Let go. No, don't sink. Rose, Jack. It's going to be a Titanic situation for me when I'm selling the shares. When that moment comes. Good, 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 good. Enjoy it. Enjoy the movie and enjoy the food and the meeting with Ed and his wife, Pam. Can't wait to hear all about it later. Socks off. Can't they just hold their position until AMC goes bankrupt? Socks off. Do you want to put your socks back on? I'll tell you this. How do you see, first of all, I'm going to reverse the question. I hate answering people with questions because I don't like when people answer my question with a question, but I have to do an exception here. How will AMC go bankrupt? You said hold their position until AMC goes bankrupt. How will AMC go bankrupt? The business is actually much stronger than pre-pandemic. Like, the projections for it is pre-pandemic, and that's understandably so, because before the pandemic, pre-pandemic, there was no following base to AMC because movies were just an industry that everybody went to. Now, AMC, you want me to give you guys a very, very bullish statement? When you have 5+ million, and I know that number is probably much, much higher, but when you have 5+ million people who are hardcore dedicated only to you, AMC has become its own entity, its own nation. It can go buy a big, huge chunk of land or island and call it AMC and put up a flag, and there will be many citizens in it, and we can have our own ecosystem in it. People don't understand when they attack AMC, they talk about the past and they talk about what AMC is coming out of. Don't you guys believe in the human life? We have redemption where people can change and become for the better, even if they were the worst piece of shits in life. People could change. This is what I believe personally have happened with also with AMC. You got over 5 million people that are dedicated pre-squeeze, during squeeze, well, not pre, during squeeze, and at post-squeeze. People will still, I mean, when people become, their lives are forever changed, wealthy, forever. Do you think they're not still going to think of AMC as they will remember, like, this is what made me all this money. They will constantly be buying popcorn. If they're watching a movie, I speak for myself. I don't know about everyone else, but I would like to think that this is how it is. But when I think of movies, there's no way I'm going to know Sendmark or anything else. I'm going straight to where my money. I mean, it makes no sense to invest in a company and go to its competitor, right? Or spend money with its competitor. So having these millions of people, and better yet, the length that this play have taken, like so far over a year and a half, that only made us more solidified. Their intention was to break us apart. They didn't know that this was going to only bring us together even more. So I don't see where your theory of socks off that they can hold until bankruptcy. Why would it go bankrupt? Right now, AMC is a complete different entity. And I 100% agree with Adam Aaron when he said in one of the, I think it was Q1 or last year, he said, AMC is not focused on coming back to be the AMC you knew before pre-pandemic. No, their goal is to be some, and he knows why. Because now he's got a freaking strong army, millions of them. That all, he don't even need to say nothing. Like, we are all either way AMC with Adam Aaron or not. We are all AMC. So how can something like that, backed by that many people, freaking go bankrupt? I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to come off aggressive. Even if your intentions are not clear, socks off, or if they're clear and clean, that's my answer. Is the question back to you with all that what I just said. Lazy Bones one, bankrupt. so so that's another answer. Lazy Bones just chose to put 2 words. Much shorter answer than mine. Socks off, I'm not berating you or letting you have it or any of that stuff. You could, I mean, a lot of people are easy to this jumping on this cancel culture thing where, oh, shill, okay, right off the bat. No, you don't have necessarily need to be a shill to ask questions like this. It just, this kind of question shows, with all due respect, where you are as far as your own DD on the play that you're invested in. Since you're asking this question about it, I'm assuming that you're in the play. Because if you're not in the play, then at that point, it is very clear that you're shilling, right? So if you play fair with me, I play fair with you. I have respect for everyone and I love everyone. Doesn't matter what their views are. Jeffrey, also, that's a third answer, but in a different way. Socks off, AMC is not going bankrupt, period. See, look at this, socks off. Look at this. Pam, Arthur's telling Pam, do they have the annual bucket at Tour AMC? It's a bucket you buy and get refill all year for $4.99. Look at this, socks off. This is why that business is not going out of or going bankrupt. Yes, I do. This is what Pam is replying. But I don't mind paying regular price, and it's helping fundamentals, so it's okay. How can you get a business like that to go bankrupt when you have investors who are backing it, who are with that beautiful mindset like this, who are passionate about the company itself, not just and what it provides, not just their investment. So it's another one. In your base, socks off, AMC is not going bankrupt. Cindy, LOL, AQR is just another iceberg lettuce. That's my favorite. I love this one. Good one, Cindy. In your base, bankruptcy was off the table once Ape started picking up the stock. Yep, there you go. Put them in their base. Uh, Socks is also the name of the cat in the Lightyear movie. Good one, Pam. Look at Arthur Martin. I am the same. I spend extra just to help. Bottom line, I'm buying the annual buckets every time when they have no special tins. They cost $24.99 the first time. I have two so far. Well done and good for you, Arthur. Socks off. Okay, so bankruptcy off the table. Then what the f are they waiting for to cover? So they hold for years and we sell. Okay, it's not exactly like this. The words that you're searching for here, socks off, is the battle between us and them. You know, the battle doesn't end in one day. And just because I know that you're gonna win doesn't mean I give you the keys ahead of time. Oh, they wait. See how many casualties. That's what war is about. You know, both sides are taking losses, both sides. But at the end of the day, it's determined by who wins at the end, by the winner, and the loser would have lost everything basically, because at that point they lose everything, and that's what it comes down to at the end. It's a battle between us and them, and there's so much more that I could go in, and that's a year. And with all the respect, that's a year and a half old question, if that makes any sense. But I'll say this. Um, Maybe you just jumped on last week, so excuse me. I could come off as rude. At the end of the day, I am human. I apologize, socks off. But when you came in, okay, so bankruptcy off the table, then what the f are they waiting for to cover? um, well, money, bailouts to come, transfer. They need to transition their profits or their money out of the market, so when it does do its thing and tank, they can go ahead and protect and cement that money and be ready for the rebuild and get in on the bottom. On top of all that, the reason why it seems like they're not just covering, because the market is so much bigger than just AMC and GME or the meme stocks only. They're making money on these ups and downs. So until they can no longer do that in a point where it's profitable enough for them, which we're approaching, I feel you see them squeezing, and saying, "Screw you, apes! My ass is being squeezed." Oh, sorry, Mr. Assness. When it gets to that point where it can't be, there's no corridor in the building that can be walked through or utilized or squeezed more for more benefits, when they can't milk any more things and also come out profitable out of it, it's over right there and then. So there's many dynamics that go into it. Socks off. I implore you to watch some of the older videos, and I even implore you to go ahead and watch some highly educational channels. Like you got one for Pantheon. Easy, just like the Pantheon building. You could easily go in there, Pantheon AMC, and tell Dog, if you don't mind, or anybody, any of the mods in here, could you please share Pantheon's page in here and Boss's page as well. That's another amazing. If you're in those two places, I find it very hard for you to go ahead and, need or have a need to look elsewhere. If you are an investor in AMC or even GME, in some other cases, like for Boss, and still need questions or any of that stuff, all that is a one-stop shop in between those two. There's many great people as well. Again, this is the people that I have, like I've seen much. I spend a lot of time watching in case of Boss Blunts. And then for Pantheon, on a personal level, I watch him all the time, not only because he's a friend of mine, but also dealt with him on a personal level. And I know the ethics that he brings to the play and the kind of person that he is, which is extremely beautiful and rare to find individuals like that in the globe that we live in today. So hopefully that gets it all off, socks off. And maybe you could get the socks back on. Kim A, has Melvin already covered? Well, We don't see that on the play. So the answer is no, Kim. They haven't covered because we will see it incorporate into the price of the stocks. Although they also did mention that it will be in the end of June. They didn't clarify. And then I think it was July 1st is when they wanted to start the new one, but I don't even know if that's even going to happen now. That's my best, to the best of my knowledge. We don't think so. It's believed Melvin transferred their short to another hedge fund. That's quite very possible as well. I mean, but who would want? Think of it like this: who, if we're all floating in the water, our boat have sunk. We're all floating on the water. Who's gonna try to carry somebody else on their shoulders for what benefit? Like it's not like they're picking up their shares. No, they're picking up their shorts. That's a lose-lose situation. I wouldn't, if I was a short, I wouldn't want to do that. Hell no. I'm already looking at getting vaporized. Why would I get vaporized? Crazy. And actually, in more to add to that, I find it highly more likely that when they cover, that all the other shorts have covered or transferred their shorts with them because they're a private fund, and Pantheon touched on that very, 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 very much. And that makes more sense to me than the idea of them, some other short taking their position. It's kind of like, those grenades that you see in the movies or in video games where, they take it off and it's like they take a deep breath and then they throw it and it takes like 2-3 seconds and then it just blows enough time for them to run and jump right over that little like behind this little alley or some shit for the movie star. Yeah, this is how I can see it. Why would another short want to grab another live and heated grenade that is already primed and pulled out? Why would they want to hold on to that? It's going to blow up into their laps and their hands. Socks off. If cost to borrow is rising, then why are they still shorting? Are they not any others? Are there not any other stocks that would be easier to short? Socks off. Okay, I wouldn't. I was going to respond differently, but here's this socks off. That they're shorting like shorting is not only in one stock. They're not just shorting just AMC or GME. Many other stocks, not just meme stocks, many other stocks. So clearly they see the value in shorting in general. That's the idea of shorting in general. So socks off. I would like for you to tell me right now, if you're still around, even by the time I got to these comments, are you an AMC investor or a GME investor? Type yes or no, please. You don't have to share your positions or what you're holding or whatnot. I don't need all that. Are you a holder or not? Because I'm beginning to feel that you are a little chilly in here, because you're asking questions that, or you're saying things that sound like what they respond on Reddit posts. Somebody just like right off the bat of your head. The questions, with all due respect, those are things that are you have to know these questions prior to you getting into the plays. So I find it very hard that you're in either play, yet you're asking these questions now in this stage of this play. So we'll see. Have a great one, Pam. Enjoy the movie again. Jeffrey Graham, how are you doing? Citadel is moving its headquarters from Chicago to Miami. This is what Arthur is saying, and yeah, they they want to go somewhere where there's a lot of partying. The city of Chicago have grown super tired of Citadel and their and King Griffin in general. So the fact that they will allow the wealthiest person in Illinois to leave, to possibly actually even leave the state of Illinois, that tells you how much they don't give a shit no more. People like Ken or Jeff Bezos or these kind of people, you know, they're begged by every state to please come open up a plant over here and stay over here and all this stuff. We'll give you tax write-offs. We'll give you just bring your business here or bring your entity over here. Bring yourself in here. And if they're willing to let obviously something like that go and not even offer anything in return, more like please just go, that tells you a lot. Javi the Great, how are you, my friend? Hopefully you're doing great this evening. I'm only in ADA at the moment. Oh, Cardano. All right, in your base. All right. Dips Patel, AB brother, how are you? How are you, my friend? How are you, brother? Nice to see you in here. Oh, Goonie. How you doing, AB? What's up, Goonie? Cindy, hey, AB, do you think phase 6 will F them up bad? Um, Time in general is effing them bad. The way that I view this is that, okay, this whole stock market is a body and they're part of it. We're outside investors. Okay. That's why they call themselves Wall Street and they're within it. Problem is, I feel like all of the game, like they got infected with cancer. That's how I see it. And it's spreading fast. The more time, the worse the cancer gets. Eventually, the body that it's in, that the cancer have went into and spread so much it can no longer live, and it eventually kills it. So phase 6 or 10 or 4 or 5, it's only time, in my opinion, that is killing them more than anything. So yes, it could not even get to phase 6. The notion that we need this to go in so that that's it, they will cover the very next day. I would like more people to pivot just a little bit away from this. Of course, we need the regulations to go in that helps us in our pursuit, but you got to remember that these guys are anticipating that kind of stuff, right? They're not just thinking like, okay, no, the SEC will never do this. Or not, no, they have already. That's why they got Pierce in there. They operate quick. They operate on it, and they don't leave a stone unturned. But they can't get rid of this cancer that's in their blood. And eventually, that, like I said, time is the worst thing. And when that moment comes, we will all not know it. It will just drop. Doesn't matter whether phase 6 or not. I don't like to tie anything to one theory that could eventually be the result or the catalyst of the squeeze. Because all these things that we're going through from day one till now are all catalysts. Without us buying and holding, there will be no phase 6 wouldn't do shit. And I'm not crapping on phase 6 idea. Of course not. No, as I said, I'm all for all advancements for the stock market in general. Because the stock market in general, moving forward, post squeeze, anyways, needs to be a better place in order for people to put their money in it. So I'm all for that. But the idea when we tie those things, we begin to tie those things to the squeeze, that's where a lot of, because it's all unknown. And when people tie it to it, they become emotionally attached to it. And when you become emotionally attached to that kind of stuff, then next thing you know, mentally, when it hits, like people went March 3rd was put on to them because transparency rules and March 3rd. And guess what happened? Now we passed June 3rd and we didn't see anything, right? At that point, spare yourself the letdown. So I don't tie my emotions or anything or to a particular phase 6 or 9 or something or transparency or all that stuff. I'm all for it. I'm talking about the dark pools, all that stuff, because we know all the effery is happening in there. But am I saying that when this changed the very next day, boom, we're going to squeeze? No. They know when they can no longer make money out of the pyramid scheme that they have. And this is why they're also enticing people like yesterday with Mr. Assness to try to go, oh yeah, go, do something. We dare you. It's too late to come out like this. They could have said this a year and a half ago, but they're coming out to do it now. There's many intents. One, trying to mess with you mentally, prepare you, marinate you for today, which we saw what happened, and then capitalize on it. Two, entice people to go ahead and even go buy more so they can turn more into FTDs, and somebody else keeps pocketing this money because they possibly think or know that, hey, this is gonna be a bailout from the government regardless, or from the feds. So might as well eat as much as you can while you can, until that you can't no more. That could be a possibility. No one can say no, it's not. That's a very good possibility too. So if they already know, or under the notion that a 2008 situation is going to happen all over again, and a bailout happens, then that's probably, it's in their best interest to have people buy more and more. They're, at the end of the day, they're not the ones who's paying for it, right? They're just collecting illegally all that money. Okay, where am I right now? Oh, I'm almost caught up to you guys, so I could also wrap up. Goonie, AB, what do you think will happen as AMC enters Russell? And why do they do this? Okay, so based on the market cap of a company, this is what entitles what index or what ETFs it goes in. Okay, so the S&P 500, normally you go in there, you look at Amazon, it's in there. Look at Microsoft, in there. Tesla, in there, because those are 500 most fortunate companies, and obviously with the largest market cap also. Now, here's the thing, and the depths play a big role into it too. Now, you go after that to the iRussell 1000, which is where we're trying to go. Some people are trying to make a case for GME going to the S&P 500. I don't know about how far down the line that could be, or really whether that would be also the case, but possibly. Who knows? If they have a lot of cash, they could acquire a lot of things. Netflix is all the way in the ground. I literally see it like it's good for GME to partner, and AMC have showed the will that they will partner. Like they partner with Sprout to get an stake into Hycroft. So now I could see them, and Adam Aaron did hint about using some money, and he's going to pounce. GME have a chest of money as well, cash that they're sitting on. Netflix would be a great thing to buy for both sides as a partnership. AMC reaching the crowd that doesn't go to the movies or likes the subscriptions, and that way they can also have some sort of a special pass that they can offer to people on that platform, assuming that they buy it, and they can go ahead and get access to, similar to the PS Gold pass. You know, you could get some free games as long as you have that pass. AMC would have something like that, and GME could also have a lot of games on the Netflix platform, and it was all going to be, without the hard disk. So they can phase out competition and at the same time have a solid foundation. Oh my God, the presence that they would have if they were both to buy Netflix, that would be huge. That would be huge for both sides, or for any single side if any of them decides to buy it. So yeah, so that plays into it. Now, my thoughts on it, I share the same sentiment of some of my friends and YouTube creators. Some and with some of them, obviously without even having to mention names, because I don't know, I want them to feel uncomfortable in case they don't want to share that or something. But with some of them, it's clear to see that when AMC will go in, if it enters today or tomorrow, basically the iRussell 1000, that is going to be at the very top, which means when people go and invest in the iRussell 1000, AMC will be getting the least amount of leftover of the money, because the money gets spread on the first, like the higher you are in that IRSO 2000, you get majority of that money, of that investment that's incoming goes towards you, and then it gets spread more on the other stocks. Every stock in there will be purchased, or a fraction of it will purchase depending on the size of the investment. But the later ones, the further ones, get least amount, so less incoming for AMC. But they get less volatility in that than the iRussell 2000, because it's more stable, and not many shorts would be as very inclined to short the iRussell 1000 versus the iRussell 2000, right? Just a little bit less. But again, in my humble opinion, I don't think all that stuff matters at the end of the day much, because when the crash completely goes down and you have all these indexes and ETFs slashed, including the S&P 500, volatility wouldn't be an issue, because you can't be afraid of something that is dying or dead at that point. It's going to be completely in shambles when the recession hits. So I'm more onto the the side of, I'm not too much reading into that. It goes in there, perfect. It doesn't matter. It will not have any implications personally for me, not that big of an implication on our play. I think the best is behind us. We've done what I mean by the best, as in like all the hard work has been done. Now is just waiting and holding until we get the keys to the city. That's it. Hopefully that answers it, Goonie. Ron Parks, do you know anything about a wash sale, how it works? I know it will be a tax problem. Can you explain it? I actually can't, as far as a wash sale. 1 second. Ah, okay, okay. A lot of big institutions do this for tax situations. Was it Ron? A lot of them do it. As I'm reading here, just the example of it, and I see that happen always before the end of the year, so they can come in and they'll calculate that as a loss into their papers. Now, I don't see how it's not a tax problem. It's more of a tax benefit, because you want to, if you are in a losing position, that offsets your winners, and a lot of institutions do that. So I don't know how that is going to be related to AMC though, Ron. I don't know. We'll see. With a reverse split exposed synthetics, similar to how a dividend would, please feel free to speculate. Oh, thanks, Corbin. Appreciate it. To an extent, yes, it would expose the synthetics, but I feel like it's in so many, to the point where I don't think we could approach ever all the synthetics, or recount all the synthetics of how crazy it's been in the market and flying around in the market, or in all the plays, not just AMC or GME. And now the dividend part, that's for sure. That definitely would cause that, because the reason why it works like that is because when the companies issue out dividends, it needs to do basically a count on how many shares it has to issue the dividend to, right? But similar in GME's case, where it's genius how Ryan Cohen is doing it, they're doing it where through giving you more shares, yes, and at the same time opening more opportunity, and through the price, dropping, just like Amazon is now at 100, 105, 104. Many more people keeping the opportunity, and for the money also that comes in for the company, because more liquidity comes in. So it's good for both sides. In GME's case, Amazon didn't do no dividend reverse or a stock split. In GME's case, yes, because now when you know the float, how many's out there, you're giving out the dividend to, these shorts will be left with two options. One, cover your short positions or pay out for that dividend, which at that point is going to be, I mean, if they only just did a 3-to-1, not 7-to-1, like a 3-to-1, you're going to have 1 billion shares that they would have to in dividends. And that's also like counting how many people in GME, even if that number is not announced, they will also be giving dividends out, paying it out of pocket. That part I don't see. I don't see them ever paying for a dividend and still hold on to their short positions, because when they pay out for the dividend, if they choose to do that, that doesn't get rid of the shorts, which makes no sense. Again, they're in it to make money, not to, and in this case, they're in it to lose, but they're not going to lose even more than that and not answer to that. It's just, that's how it works. I don't know. I don't think I can go further and further on that more. Hopefully that answers it, Corbin. Super Steven, what's up, my friend? That's another great one, guys. He's got a good channel too, and he's got great quiet content. I spoke to him, and I consider him a friend of mine now. I spoke to him on many occasions now on Discord as well. I love the guy. So I look forward to meeting you in person, Super. Oh, I went back. No, no. Okay, I seen the same comment. Sorry. J Boy, how are you, my friend? Bought 434 shares today of AMC. Congrats to you. You must be feeling pumped, aren't you? Damn, J Boy. Gary is one crazy individual. I like it though. Lady Tahiti is in the house. How you doing, my friend? Nice to see you in here. I'm glad you made it. Tater Tot, how are you? Alrighty, Tater Tot. Thanks for seeing that, and I appreciate you telling everyone to smash the like button. I appreciate everybody that did and the ones that didn't. I just appreciate the fact that you guys have been in here and gave me your time. Cindy AB is finally just getting to the chat. Somebody's going to put, if you're reading this, we're already dead. AB may just be low on conviction right now. Huh? It's a long, hard play, and sometimes folks just need to be recharged by us other apes. I'm still holding. Me, Arthur? What? Why would I be low on conviction? I've had my conviction since September of 2020. I'm confused. What is it that did I say by mistake or something that AB is done with AMC? I no longer want to hold this. I'm done. I'm confused, Arthur. In your base, I don't see AB being low on conviction. Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely not. I definitely agree. We all need to be recharged by each other. But again, my essence of what I'm doing or all this is far from being low on conviction. In fact, I'm battling here. I'm literally like battling statements and people and all that for why. I'm like so bullish on the stock. They could almost take my name out instead of AB. They could just put AMC on me. Much love, Arthur. Oh, okay. Socks may be low on his conviction. Okay. You got me with this one, Arthur. I'm over here thinking like squeeze. You got my brain to squeeze, so at least you got a one short squeeze, Arthur. Bob, you got my brain to short squeeze. It was like what? When did I? What did I say that has no conviction? Much love to you, brother. In your base, I gave Socks the benefit of the doubt, so I entertained the question. I got the same feeling as AB did, little fetish. Yeah, that's my thing. I respect you in your base and everyone else also that respect that. Um, we don't do canceling here unless the person wants to cancel themselves out. Uh, sometimes it's truly sometimes it questions, and just because we know some answers to certain questions, that doesn't make it not a hard answer for somebody else. Everybody's different. We have to be respectful and welcoming. Now obviously if they reveal themselves to be shills, then that's how the protocol can respectfully still be pushed out, squozing out. So it's that's it. I told you guys the story of when one time I uploaded a video on YouTube and some guy came and straight bashful paragraphs of this and the squeeze is never and all the stuff you YouTube and all this stuff. And I literally said, okay, my friend, you're coming in here. I need to know first, like, are you coming in here to deliver a message or are you coming in here to throw a bunch of shit on top of each other and see what sticks? Clearly it makes a big difference because it determines how I'm going to make my response. Um, the point of us doing this is so that we all can have a common ground and a hub for information flowing through all of us, to all of us, even to me as well. And when I've realized, like majority of, like many people would automatically, oh, you're a shill, and they just count you out. This person could not be. They could be just in a mental breakdown from what's happening, and they don't understand what's happening. So they're coming off very rough. So that's wrong on their end. They need to reevaluate how they go about things. But that just it could be also a reflection on mentally where they are and state of mind they're in. So when I was able to calm the person down and get their point, and I was like, okay. And I started going in on the facts. And at the end, that same person that came out calling me names and everything, not only did they apologize, but they said, thank you. You answered the questions. I'm sorry. And move on. So I look forward to that with everyone. And that's how it is. Now, if somebody comes in clearly just doing this and that, then they cancel themselves out because I tell all the shills, if you're going to come shill with in my zone, come with your homework ready. Like, come with some serious DD and real valuable stuff, because I will pounce on you and I will make it similar to where like it's an offering to the rest of the community in the chat. So I'm always going to be respectful. That's the way I was raised. That's the way I was brought up. I'm going to be me. I'm not going to let out anything or anyone to change me and who I am and my values and beliefs, because that means they have power and influence over me. I will never give them that power. So it's important to be like that and stay true to yourself. And obviously, hey, if they're coming to shill, make sure that you're coming in good, because if once your intentions are figured out and it is true, then it's easy to make an ass out of you. Oh, sorry, Mr. Assness. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking in general. Oh my God. In your base, man. Did you recently change your name, or are you new to the channel? I'm not very like, I think I seen you one time before, which was yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday. Um, but yeah, welcome to the family, brother. Either way, if you did change your name, then you're in the family. You're still in the family. I'm good at the moment. Uh, Fat lady's warming up. AB, what happened when do key one said, "Come at me to the billionaires holding Luna. QE got these mofos and ain't quitting." Peace out in your base. Yeah. I got, now I'm getting to the comment. Yes, I figured it out. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate you. Thanks for your time. Tell dog, yes, I'm still alive. I said I was gonna leave. Imagine, right? I couldn't leave all the love. I had to. The people give the time, so I have to do my. The least I could do is give my time back to them and read the comments, obviously, because it's only right that way. And not only because I'm doing him a favor. No, I'm doing myself a favor also by learning, because there's a lot of stuff that is also in this type. Not just the person that is speaking, but the people that are typing. No, you're good, Arthur. You don't need to apologize, brother. I was never taking it into a defensive thing. I was just looking like, what was I? What did I say that? Much love to you, brother. Thank you, Tell Dog. I've seen in your base before, AB. In your face. Cindy, what kind of name is Asness? It's the kind of name you sit on. Good one. Good one. Good one. Miss Day, did you subscribe to my YouTube channel? Oh, you do not, Tell Dog. You prick. I'm not falling for it. And I know that she's probably not going to fall for it. I ruined your surprise. Well, kind family, appreciate all of you guys for all your time and wonderful stream. Yes, yet once again, great questions, great vibes, great information. I'm very, very happy with the time that was well spent today. I look forward into the next stream or the next video that we will upload. I look forward into hearing more If you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, we've had it. It's free. We had the link for it in the link. It's again, a way for people to stay interconnected, as the families stay interconnected at all times. And there are voice channels so people can even speak with each other there. Again, all for free, but it helps to not be on the strings or waiting until the next live or the next video. Thank you so much for all of you that popped in. Forks, appreciate you showing up. Thank you so much. And thank you so much. Tell Dog, you make me blush now. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's always good to laugh as well. That's what I do best. Well, like I said again, guys, this is Tahiti. Thank you as well. Thank you guys again. Have a great rest of your evening. And once again, much love, bbby Investments.